Dude, I knew there was something gonna fucking happen. God damn it! I was literally fucking talking about this, and I'm like, oh, I probably need to reset it or restart the computer. Like either after, like basically at the end of the day, it's like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna do it now. We're gonna fucking do it now. What the fuck, bro? Fuck, damn it! All right, hold on a minute, me. Go on that one. Let me invite off a cotton here. Hold on a minute. Oh my god, is the schedule already fucking broken? Is the schedule already fucking broken? I hope not. Nope, we're good. Looks like. Okay. Alright. Cotton. Okay, go on the cotton. Motherfucker. Piece of fuck. I knew it was gonna fucking happen. God damn it. Yeah, Furality, I already know. Son of a bitch.
Might be a problem with your controller, to be honest. Maybe the vibration was loose or something.
Oh yeah. Oh god. Look, listen to this.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's my goddamn controller vibrating.
Oh.
I think I broke my the vibration in it.
Just
I
now?
dropped it and now it doesn't work properly.
They were just holograms.
Fuck!
You just...
Yeah, I walked up there and I looked at them from the side.
You just dropped it? Oh my god.
No, I dropped it recently, and now the fucking vibration in it's broken. Instead of being soft, it's now.
I'm gonna get some of those silent shaders. Like that one at the skyscraper, like the glow, like on that looked bright on that. That looks awesome. I've never seen that before. I'm definitely gonna pick that up.
Oh my god!
Listen to that, bro.
R/tech
It sounds like it's being electrocuted or something. If I take the battery out, it might fix it.
Please draw the boobs more big.
Bro, I can't deal with that. Oh. Hang on. I know it vibrates when you take the battery out and put it back in. Hang on. That sounded normal.
I love the icon.
Wait.
It's like the Japanese flag, and then there's the diagram in there.
And now it's normal again.
Okay, sure. Gotta love technology.
What the fuck was going on there then? The fuck?
Okay, well, where to now?
Gay? Oh.
What the? Yeah, you're gay too, bro.
Why? Where's the graphics? Is there a reason why there's no graphics?
No, that menu's broken. That menu's broken. They know about it.
They do know about it? Okay.
Yeah.
I keep fucking lagging. It's pissing me off.
Or is it 5 now? They changed the schedule.
10 p.m. That's 4. It's 4.
It's so it's
Why'd you
fine.
turn your
Gay.
head like that? Hmm?
Gay.
Oh, yeah, I slept in.
Gay.
Just so I could-
Gay.
So are you.
Oh my god.
I'm back curious. Thank you very much.
I'm
Bury.
still half gay. You're half gay.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got a invite or I got a join request from.
Why the fuck am I keep?
But I don't think he got in.
I
Come
need to.
back to the seat, bro.
No, you can't do that.
Unity lighting and visual Polish in VR chat.
Wait, what did that say?
Say about my controller.
You let the German read, it's your fault.
Polish.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
It's a poll now.
Wait,
In Poland.
God damn
It's
it.
actually,
He went
it's
AFK?
true, it works. I can,
Come back here,
I'm
cutie.
not
Fuck is
a
going on with this goddamn computer? What the fuck? Bro.
If you send me the thingy,
I think you might have to go to standalone.
With the F.
I think the website may be breaking again. I wasn't. It said my party didn't exist.
Too. What the fuck?
Oh no, here we go. Here we go.
It's just
Okay, yeah. I'll
logged
send
Gay.
you
one second.
I'm gonna keep kissing you, bro.
on Discord, and then you just join the party, and then
Till you do it back.
in.
Yeah, I know, I did it with Rage.
No.
Do it back, bro.
Yeah.
We're trapped here forever.
You change answers?
It's literally like
I need
I
to-
don't know. Oh, I was just gonna let Fox join the party.
Oh, ground. I thought you were. I was gonna fucking down.
Everybody all at once hitting the website. What panel's in
And we're trying to
it?
figure out what's going on. Oh, you know what? It probably was the anti-aliasing. All right, maybe it's
It does
fine.
not work because
Nope,
like,
just kidding.
I can like type it in, but then it can't make a thingy. So I will join later, I guess, in a group. Cody
Did the
is...
thing just not load properly for you?
No, it did load. I can give in the code and then I press group join and it didn't.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. They must be having
Maybe they rebooted
some
it.
issues.
Oh man.
Yeah, I gotta-
SSL has
Extreme
failed.
topping.
Oh no.
What the fuck?
Oh, dude, this is not even showing the loading speed.
Why would you put that in
It's
there?
not, even, it's not even showing the loading
What?
screen anymore. I'm just getting it like, straight up.
There's no way. There's, like, it was working fine. There's not nowhere to stop.
I don't know.
The
It
fuck?
seems to happen always when
You
the
do it
panel
back
ends,
now.
So I think Sven's right. It's just everybody going to it all at once.
Furality Ultra.
It's just slamming the back.
Do it back. Do it right now.
It's
What?
just getting slammed.
Oh, it's working for me now.
Do it back.
Oh,
Yeah, confirmed service issues on the website.
Oh,
They're
Do it.
rebooting
Oh, right.
I dare you.
Being overrun.
Oh,
There
now
was
it
an
says I'm not in
error.
the party anymore.
You're not doing it.
oh my god,
Yeah,
please,
I did
please,
some
you,
good-
you
I
fucking
said-
I
stop.
logged in, I just got a SSL handshake failed.
I'm getting angry because of my freaking PC.
Wait, yeah, the
I might
party's
join
on.
fast
This is
VC
the
again.
party.
You do have a quest, right?
You do? Oh, I see
Okay.
it.
I don't want to do the class. I want to do the
You have to go to the
freaking
quest, bro.
For me.
thing. Oh.
Yeah. Well,
So, I want to turn your graphics to the lowest possible
from last year, so they may be.
I don't
they're
want
only
to,
doing
but I have
what
to.
would be 6, it might be more intermediate.
Piss me off.
And we were all friends, that's all that matters.
Yeah, just you know. Also, yeah, Kobe. Oh, he's okay.
Kobe pressing, don't worry about it.
Current world is
Man.
controlling his title distance. Alright.
He'll eventually become fluffy again.
Oh, Connie's online. I've not spoken to her yet. And Shruki. How you Milo and Corvin are
They're
all
working
in
again.
I don't know what the fuck is going on, bro.
the 3D creators meetup, but
Do you want to go as well?
well,
Hang on.
I want to see the
Hello
tunnel.
for once.
I mean, it starts shortly, so.
I gotta see if there's anything else that's wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, you're back.
Finally,
Oh,
more
I'm back.
comfortable.
Hello.
The,
market to buy that.
Hey,
The reactor core is at 28 degrees.
Make a VR chat
What?
alternative, and like they're just burned out on VR
Oh,
chat.
my
They're
room.
deep pockets probably.
My room is
Down
the
again.
temperature's climbing.
Oh,
I fixed the controller.
back on.
I just took the battery out and put it back in.
Oh, nice.
Oh, well
For
done. some reason,
man.
both
Website.
vibrations glitched out, right? So now then,
We can,
instead of being
we
on
can go to
both
another,
controllers, it was all going to the right one and it was overloading
I
it.
don't see shit.
What is going on with Kobe?
Scuffed.
What is he doing?
Don't worry. Don't worry.
He's having a
I
seizure.
didn't get a chance to ask you.
Also, he's back from the dead.
It was quite hectic.
Oh, he's
but It was
returned.
good fun. I enjoyed
Hello.
it.
Yeah.
That's
good.
You're even smaller.
Yeah.
Blah.
About you? Did you go?
Fucking hell.
I had a pretty good time.
What the fuck is going?
Wasn't expecting second fire alarm, but here we are.
Oh, there's
Okay,
also
now I can't just
third
access the
fire
website
alarm.
anymore. I tried accessing.
I only saw. Oh no, there was a third one when, like, after everyone else had left or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there was. So a lot of other people had to evacuate.
Okay,
And then there were
I
two
think I
other
accidentally
alarms
I clicked the green button.
off-site.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to join the avatar creation.
What,
and
like
see
one
if
of
I
the
can
other
Yeah,
get
hotels?
it maybe.
What?
I think I have
One of them, the Moxie, had an
If it'll let
evacuation,
me.
and the
If
glamping
not,
pods
then
as
it
well.
should
Shouldn't
be
do
that.
that.
I didn't even know the
Avatar
camping pods had them.
Well, yeah, they kind of
I'm gonna do
have
this
to
thing by you
for
guys.
Well, I suppose,
yeah,
it would
yeah.
just be like a smaller one.
Hello.
Let's see.
Sorry,
Oh,
Tracy,
fuck.
I was up.
So each time
I was just losing my
Yeah.
shit at you just sitting there pretzeling out
So
and
there were a
fucking
lot
your
of
head
fire
backwards and
alarms
forwards.
this year. Don't know if that's a sign of things to come.
It's just,
It's lagging, but not
Tired.
kinda.
Yeah, I don't know. I
It's
mean,
lagging, but not as bad. You know what? I shouldn't fucking say it because then I'm gonna jinx myself. So I'm not gonna fucking say a goddamn word.
the closing ceremony was not all that surprising given just
It's
how much
cooperating
smoke
for the
it
time
had.
being.
Would have like disabled the like immediately
Yes.
you know
What
you
the
like
fuck? As soon as I-
my room is now it's like,
They
please.
had
Where's the
disabled
sun?
the
Fucking
there was
word.
so much
Bling.
smoke, it
I
travelled
like how when I
I regret
when I go like this, your face kind of turns into like an alien.
I'm an alien bird.
Both because both my eyes kind of like squish together when I do that. So you go from looking normal to being like really close together.
I'm in a weird state right now because I've not had a massive amount of sleep over the last couple of days, and
It's
um,
4 in the morning.
I still haven't made the outfit for one of my avatars. You know, my slip fin.
Oh no. Oh no. You're right. All of my fucking.
Dude, I'm already aggravated. It's not even because of the. It's not even because of this. It's never because of this. It's because of fucking technology being annoying.
I haven't even I just come back and every fucking tab has crashed.
But yeah, basically after this next
You know what,
panel,
next
I think
year,
I'll
I'm just gonna get a
chat
fucking,
for a
like,
couple
the
hours and just try and work away on that.
strongest
avatar.
PC I'm able to get. Fucking do that.
Give me your one, bro. Give me your.
To learn how all this shit works. But
Give me your old one.
It's not uncommon.
Damn.
for
Hopefully,
Furality
he's
to have
fucking.
a few
Hopefully, I
issues.
find one that doesn't have these
for a
fucking
few
clunkers doing this
hey,
bullshit.
man, I'm getting that experience. I love it.
Clickforge Studios meet and greet panel.
Hopefully.
Bro just bumped in my face.
I mean, you could have.
Okay, so
Sorry.
apparently this world has been acting to fix
Don't worry, I'm fine with
problem.
it.
In this instance.
Oh, so now it doesn't do. Oh, so now it's gonna work. Oh.
Yeah, you threatened to replace it. It's like, oh god, no.
I don't know if you've been around here long, Static, but there was a problem.
Okay, I
where,
liked a little bit
the,
when I moved
the
really
mouse
quickly,
basically had, like, a
but other than
reverb, so it
that,
sounded like
I think that's just normal Steam Link being in fucking
Uh,
Steam Link.
So I'm probably just gonna
Yay!
reload this instance to
Yay!
I can reload and
I'll only.
You do realize
stop
your
if
kids
you
in
do
chat
that,
too,
bro.
right? You do realize that?
BRB.
I don't care.
So gay and straight, and then kind of in the middle.
What was it trying to fix?
I don't care.
There's a sound issue.
I'll kiss all of
that's,
them.
in this world.
Oh, right.
Gay and straight.
Fair enough.
Bye.
Sounds like,
Make sure to unsubscribe. Joking.
Doesn't.
Dislike the video. Unsubscribe.
Confirmed. It reloaded, so they must have updated it.
Heck, right.
Bad dog.
Was that you?
Bad
Hello?
dog.
Chat, everybody call him gay.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Can't believe there's nobody in here yet.
Are you also going to rejoin then? Or
Used to the
what?
fact that I could actually.
Damn, so I wasn't kissing anybody.
I mean, if you
Apart
don't
from you.
want the reverb issue, then yeah, probably.
Then there's the VOD.
Telegram on
Like,
that
the next
was
one's
rejoined.
It's
about
only
to
for
start.
YouTube because I don't
You
have it
go
for
to the
Twitch.
gear tab in the quick menu, and it's in world actions.
The other one, they're
Vodka
DJs.
for editing out.
It's the same one.
What?
Stop burping in my face, bro.
What'd you say?
What the F?
The other thing.
Stop burping in my face, bro.
What about the other thing? What was the other thing? What was the other
fair
thing?
enough.
I just said VODs are for editing to shit out of your stream.
That you can finally something.
Kiwi's in here. It says you and Kiwi are both in
You
here.
edit stuff out of your stream when you upload VODs.
Oh yeah, here I can finally sit down on an extra pillow.
Motherfucker
Yeah, stop
said.
doing. Stop. Because you burped in
I'm
there.
sitting. I'm actually sitting. Now I'm actually standing.
I'm gassy.
For some reason, it just
I got you.
Oh, you changed. I sit down. I don't have to sit away.
You know, I'm gonna drink my fucking soda. Where's my fucking straw?
Oh.
Fuck did that go? Where the fuck did the straw go? You know what? Fuck, I'm just gonna drink it straight up. Fuck you.
I think
your
it's a
fault.
very good thing that I'm not very tall, like not taller than I am here, because I would absolutely run around with people and be like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Messing me about. That chair, fuck.
Well done.
This whole thing
Yes, man, I do that constantly. I'm just not gonna have any toes the end of the damn con. For the race.
Rip.
I think other fun things earlier said, he's taking a fucking breather until later. I mean, I like it. I
Do
mean,
you think I'm gonna hit 29 degrees?
Ari, just go and get heat stroke. Just put yourself right with it.
I just think you do have the window open.
Yes.
Poop for the cotton.
I might open the other one.
I have the window open.
Vor.
Do it through,
Yep, I do that. You're my prey now. Goodbye.
and then you click like you find the world.
Bro, you're so small. I could just gobble you up.
yeah, roughly what we have here.
Alright. Alright, let's see if this
Around
changes.
You ever think about that, bro?
My
Sold.
apartment is somehow.
This is like,
Actually, it's only
I
4
can
apparently
I
right
can
now.
max out the
It was
height
high
to
at the
5
start there, but
5
the
meters.
sun's much
Fucking
lower in the
test.
sky.
Don't test me.
yeah.
I feel like if I do that,
Yeah. It's like it's
You'll probably get
really
banned if you do
outside,
that.
And yet your room is struggling to get lower than 28.
Like,
there goes war again.
this
My favorite tactic to get rid of friends.
compared to wave. Like, I don't know how
No,
I survived
I
that.
think, like,
You
God
eat
only
them.
knows what temperature it got up to during the heat wave.
The heat wave was brutal.
Oh yeah, for context, I ordered a thermometer from IKEA and it arrived today. So I've actually got
Yeah.
a way to measure
What?
how hot my room is.
You might want to sit down, bro.
I know the
We're
highest
floating.
temperature I achieved was 28
Oh.
inside
The
to
unfortunate
30
thing is,
outside.
or at least,
Yeah.
it turns out he
Yeah,
ordered
Steam
thermometers. I don't
Steam
use it,
VR
so
doesn't
I
like
thought it was
like
kinda-
does not like me doing that right now.
It is,
Oh.
it is a bit naff, but
He's having a hissy fit.
'Cause
It
it's
is
like-
what it
it's-
is.
It's got this. It's basically like a cube, and you can like
Yeah.
rotate it on the 4 different sides, and it has 4 different
Yes.
functions.
Where are you gonna go, bro?
Oh.
A
Wait,
thermometer,
look, you're surrounded. Where are you gonna go?
timer, and something else. I
Yes.
forget.
Huh.
But it uses like the world's cheapest LCD.
Oh, my-
screen, which
oh,
you
God
can
damn it.
barely read it.
Why does it do that? Like as soon as you get right close to me, it's just like, ah, fuck you.
I thought it would.
I guess my avatar just lags you out.
Yeah. No, the website's kind of
Maybe
functional.
if I change my avatar to my other one.
Where is it?
I seem to have
over?
lost the party.
They may have delayed to if people were
I'm gonna fucking touch
struggling to
you.
get in.
something happening? No.
Yes, please.
Oh yeah, I think. Oh, I'm
Steam
not getting an
link.
SSL handshake fail. Okay, yeah, I think they've just like probably pulled the
What?
schedule right now because nobody can actually change instance.
Fair enough.
What did you say?
Here's a
Alas.
question: Does Goose?
Why are you sniffing my armpit, bro?
Oh. Tell your goops. Have you made a name for your...
Yo,
No, Goose also does not work.
what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, we're trapped here right now. Don't leave.
Sweet, that works.
What?
It's kinky, bro.
Wait, what did you say?
The
Could be worse.
website is currently down, which means nobody can change instance. So
Every year, every
if you're not
year.
getting back.
That's great.
Oh no!
Hey guys, look! I have
Oh,
a certification that let you all know I survived the last outage of Furality.
Nice.
Okay. Sumner was a terror, was a disaster.
Oh my god.
Is that why none of the other events are happening right now? It's just stopped here. At the moment, or is it like
got a
You
blank
can't
screen.
join, you can't go, don't leave.
Ooh, it's
You'll
past
get back
30
in.
grand.
God damn it.
There's nothing to get back into.
nah?
I realized I recognized your voice and I checked your bio and that I met you at Bluesom's birthday party last year.
That is right. Yeah. It's I think it's been then the last.
Just like Umbro.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, distinct accent, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Kobe.
I
Yes,
wonder where
it
it could
is.
be from.
I would know. I didn't know it sounds a bit familiar. Within this line of latitude, you know?
What's going on?
Yeah, so there's a direct correlation. There's a direct correlation between how bad the website is functioning and how many people are currently in the DevOps voice channel. There's 11, including Dalton.
Oh. I hope don't
Does
get into
Canyon
that.
still
That
do
must be a
DevOps?
pain in the balls.
No, Canyon's not a staff member anymore.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he
I
left
can
at some
almost
point
turn you into
earlier
a
in the year.
fox.
Or maybe late last year, I forget.
Basically, last year was it?
Oh.
Don't I go see you on stage?
Oh.
Come on.
Uh-oh.
I
Uh-oh.
don't think you can.
Uh-oh. 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 Oh, this could be. Oh, this could be hell. Gotta love VR chat.
This is so rude. There's stuff down there.
Oh my god! This is so bad already. Oh no. Oh. And there they go. They're out of here. Oh my god. What the fuck?
You just like skimming the Uh-oh. Fuck.
You've fallen.
Hmm?
And I can get up. Oh. I can do this.
Hmm?
It's fine.
What the fuck?
No, don't come in here, we're stuck. We're fucking stuck. Oh, no.
Ah!
Just scare him out of it, just scare him out of it. Someone's loading, someone's loading.
Oh.
Oh, they're doing more.
I'm so happy to be back here at Furality for a second year. If you don't know me, I'm Paperfen. I've been a VR chat avatar creator for 4 years, and I'm the creator of the Moon Kill Basin species. I just finished up my second year of college studying game art design to learn how to do game artwork professionally. And today, I'm going to take you on another crash course through some more advanced parts of avatar making. Last year, I covered all the basics.
I find
down to
where
tools and
the
buttons within
admin
Blender,
area
all
is
the way
this
to adding
time.
a model into Unity.
Whoa.
So if you're completely new to this, I highly recommend
If you
watching
go down
my
there and
channel
in
Master
there,
Routine.
there's like a big hole in the ground that you can't actually fall down, and I suspect in a host instance there will be a hidden channel that they can type in a code to get in, and then it's basically under us. There's a room that you can
Okay.
down into, and I found
Yeah, I saw that.
a panel that has all of the events, the event people's stickers. Look.
Ooh. Hmm.
For starters, let's do a nice in-depth overview of good topology. Topology is what we call the arrangements of points on a 3D surface. It's made of polygons, which can either be tris, quads, or n-gons. Tris are triangles, quads are squares, and n-gons are everything else. You typically don't want n-gons on a model. They don't work well when rigged and often lead to lighting errors.
Oh, here, panel.
Quads are optimal because when using them, you can get really nice clean loops around the model, and they function best when it comes to movement and lighting. Tris are fine, but they can also sometimes be weird with lighting, so use them sparingly. For VR chat, you don't need to have all quads topology, since having a low poly count for good performance is much more
There was a
important.
bunny.
Good topology takes time to learn and master, so remember that it doesn't need to be perfect on your first model. Keep that in mind when making your keep in mind that when making your model, you want to make it with the mouth open. This makes it easier to make the teeth and tongue. You can close it later. First, let's start with the face. Facial topology is very important, and it's the most complicated area of the mesh.
Topology is a massive bitch.
Facial expressions and movements will look kind of crunchy.
Did you die too?
Enough polys in the right spots. But you can also
Yes.
go overboard and add
Nice.
too many points in areas that don't require it, leading to a higher poly count. It's a balancing
Oh no, not topology. Why did they have to start with this?
Eyes and the mouth.
This is your favorite part, man.
Try not to have long, winding loops that make multiple spirals around the mesh. Those get really messy and they don't move properly. Plus, they can be a real nightmare to manage when trying to select a specific loop. Around the eye loops, you want to make a mask-like shape that goes over the bridge of the nose and the forehead and sits right between the eye loops and mouth loops. It's generally good to have at least one loop of quads between your eye and mouth rings. That way, your mouth movements don't affect your eyes and vice versa. With any part of topology cleanup or retopology, it's important to have references, but it's most important for the face. Look up examples of facial topology that have these colored areas highlighting
when it
important loops like these.
Dang it.
These are great guides to use while learning.
Well, that would make sense.
It crashed me. I tried to rejoin it. I had to update.
Make a model with a muzzle. I would honestly consider making an animal muzzle to be slightly easier than making a human mouth and nose, because human noses are just kind of stupidly intricate.
No one watching it. Oh.
For a muzzle, the loops of the bridge of the nose are probably going to want to come all the way across until you reach the upper lip, unless you want to do an extra detailed nose. Remember to keep a good amount of topology on the side of the muzzle too, as you'll want to be able to lift the lips and smear the nose. Above the forehead itself, you want less topology, since it isn't going to move nearly as much. Now, here's quite the puzzle. How does one go from high to low poly cleanly without using tries? By using what are called terminations. This is when we reduce the amount of points in some areas, or terminate and reduce
Lay down, bro.
a certain amount of loops. Here's some common termination patterns to get familiar with. Honestly, this is one of the hardest parts of learning good topology. It takes a lot of practice to get an eye for where terminations should be and where to make them. Putting terminations in areas of high movement will result in some crunch. Tries are in general just more easy to understand. I mean, why would you make a weird square pattern when you can just use a triangle and get it over with? But with some practice and pattern studying, it gets a lot easier and can be very, very satisfying. I find that keeping the ears and the fluff disconnected from the head model itself is helpful in many ways. Firstly, it's easier to keep the model clean. Needing to hand sew two pieces of mesh together to keep the topology clean is like pulling teeth, especially if one of those objects is going to be highly mobile, like ears. Secondly, when you connect the ears to the head, it's harder to make the weights of the ear bone not deform your skull. I used to sew my ears directly into my head mesh, and anytime the ears would move, it would look like it was giving my avatar a major concussion. Finally, it's better for base editors. A lot of people buy bases to kit bash them with other bases they also like, or add things that are entirely new. So if you have pieces that can be hot swapped out with others, it's a lot easier for people to work with than having them hard modeled onto the surface. From the face, we move on to the torso. There are two ways to do torso topology. First, the easy way is to pretty much just make a tube of loops that goes all the way down to the hips. This method works perfectly well and is the quickest way to do it. However, if you're going to want to make a torso that has boobs, you're not going to want to just have angular boobs that are pushed out of what is essentially a cylinder that's molded to a human form. You should instead make a section of loops that go around the chest and round it out. And if you want a body that can really change weight and size, you're going to want to have a fair bit of loops around the belly. It's really good to follow the shape and muscles of human form while making good topology, as it gives you the flexibility of adding more shape to the model. From my experience, I started out with just simple straight loops all the way down, and then I added a bunch of quads over areas that I wanted to be able to change shape. Now with loops around those areas, I'm able to add a lot more detail to the torso. This method does have a higher poly cost, but in my opinion, it's totally worth it when making a base model that will be able to change body shape. But if your model doesn't need to be able to change shape on its own, the cylinder method is probably better for you.
But there's a Furality.
What do I need for the specific instance, and not what do I need to do because of the
He's looking at me, no.
The shoulders and hips are some of the more complicated areas, as they are highly mobile parts of the body, not by blend shapes, but by bones. For the shoulders, it's a good idea to have a round set of loops around them that mimic the deltoid and trapezius muscles. The loops around the hips should be pulled up high on the outside.
I love pointing out the stuff right there.
Think of how your own hips and thighs move. When you raise your leg, your crotch and stomach don't move with it. Having this underwear-esque shape will assist in that and make it easier to make more natural-looking adjustments.
What's going on?
Yeah, they flickered to me.
Than you think it will need.
Weird.
Not only can our legs move up and down, but they can also
Somebody
move in
leaned
and
on
I was tweaking for a moment.
What does happen? I don't know. I didn't see it. Did it go forward?
Just a bunch of lights flashed in the sort of sides and stuff.
Round.
Areas like the knees, elbows, and heels should have a circle of loops around them so that when they bend, they retain their original form as best as possible. For the lower arm, I like to twist the loops that go long ways around.
I do wonder if she's actually in one of the instances or if it's like a private one.
When you stand in a T-pose with your palms downwards, your lower arm bones twist around each other, which you are now uncomfortably aware of. That way,
Do you
when
know?
you're
Do you
it
know?
feels a little bit more natural.
Do you know
and
about
the
that?
bottom from here all
Are
the way
these stage performers in an actual instance or just a private one?
I said.
Of course, you can also just make a straight line of loops
Yeah,
around the
so
arm,
there
and
is
if the twisting is a
basically
little bit
a
too
special
complicated.
host
In
instance
addition, this twist
of
can sometimes make
each
loops in
event,
particular look a little bit
and
crunchy
it
if the angle
has,
of
you know, the
the
actual
quadsra
person
is too
standing
harsh,
there,
and there aren't enough
and
loops
then there's
running down the
a
arm.
camera which records
Don't do
them
this
and
twist,
is
since the
able
tibia and
to
fibula don't rotate nearly
capture
as much,
their
unless you can
sort of
somehow turn your
transparent
feet all the way
avatar
backwards.
information, which is then projected to all the other ones.
Hands and feet are pretty much just complicated
The
too, so
hand
more things coming
topology
off of them.
defeated me for Shalizi.
For hands, the fingers should have either rounded areas around the joints or
Hey,
extra
Barbara.
loops to aid in bending. Take a look at your own fingers. When you bend them, there's a section
Turns out
underneath each
hands are
joint
an
that
absolute
bunches
bitch to
together,
create
kinda
in
like a
either 2D
triangular
or
shape.
3D.
We can apply this to our
Who the
topology as well,
Yes,
including
agreed.
terminations on the
Even
side of the
paws
fingers,
are
so
a
you have
pain
fewer
to
parts at
make.
the bottom and more on the top.
Pleasure.
However, also just using a straight line of loops in a simple tube shape is just as functional for VRChat. The palm is then a hub for all the fingers to connect to. Usually, I leave the arms and hands disconnected while I make them. This is to make sure that I
Sit
can
with
match
these
up the
guys
number
and
of fingers on
talking
the
like
arm with the ones on the
Eminem.
wrist. If you find that you have too many points around your hand, make some terminations on the back of the hand, as it isn't going to move as much as the palm.
Just do your best.
Rep God energy.
Pause. Honestly, one of the most annoying parts of making
Yeah,
a model,
exactly.
in my opinion.
Beans!
I recommend looking at different
They
videos
speak
and
like
images
100
of how other creators
milliseconds
make their feet pause.
per
Here's some good
second.
examples that I found of others and how I make mine. With the inner part of the paw overlapping one another to create nice round beans. You can either merge the beans
They said the
or
line!
keep them
The
separated.
biggest
Depends
beans.
on what works best
What?
for you.
Good.
Don't
How
worry if you don't get
delayed
it
But-
are
first
you,
time.
bro?
Legs and feet are honestly really hard.
Oh.
Finally, we come to booty and tail. A front model should have a good amount of topology, since you'll want the legs to be able to
They have the
bend
whole
and move
bakery
inside your
back
dump
there.
truck. Sure. A hard model leaving the body like how mine is, or you can keep it separated and have the trunk of it hidden within the mesh of the body. Once again, for base making, having a tail that's disconnected
So
makes it
why
easier
do they
for people to
speak
swap out
like
the
they're
tail
being
with others
held
they
at
might like,
gunpoint
which
because
increases
they're literally
customizability.
speaking like 100 milliseconds?
As you can see, knowing how the muscles of the body work, knowing how the muscles of the body work and are located is a really good tool to have when you want to create
Muscles.
super high quality topology.
Abs.
Honestly, the best practice that I had was an assignment in college where we were tasked with sculpting a really buff human as accurately as we could. It taught me where all of the different muscle groups are, and I apply that knowledge to my topology. So I really recommend doing a similar exercise. It's helpful in modeling, rigging, and even 2D art.
Oh.
But remember, your topology doesn't need to be perfect the first time. Here. This is what my first ever 2 models looked like. Crunchy as all get out. But little me was doing the best, creating something that I loved, and so will you. This model was the best that I could possibly make at the time, and
There's
that's
so
all
many
that matters.
5-holes in
I still
there.
love and appreciate both
I
of
love
these models.
There's too
because
many
they were the starting point.
triangles.
Judge your creations based on your skill level, not the skill level of others. And that just about covers what good topology looks like.
VR
But
chat
how do you
does
actually go
when
about
there's
making it?
one,
Well,
but
you
there's
can
more
either build
than
it up
one
naturally through
triangle.
box or edge modeling, or make a sculpt
Yeah.
and retopologize
Boo!
it.
Oh.
Get scared, get scared. For a lot of
Aer
people,
Lingus
that word is
plays
Nightmare,
just
nightmare.
representation.
Oh.
But
Don't
I'm gonna let
say
you in on a
anything.
sneaky little secret.
Is her mouth splitting
I
open?
really loved
Was it a no?
topology.
It was a
Yeah,
It's really
their
about flow
their
state. It's like a
avatar base
common
has a
puzzle.
split jaw at
It's
the
certainly a
bottom.
long process, though. It sometimes takes multiple days
Realize
of work to
that.
complete a full retopology project.
Oh.
Why the hell does it
The
do
best way
that?
to retopologize something is to use a tool called RetopOflow. This is an add-on that's free through GitHub and paid to the Blender market. I wouldn't recommend retopologizing without it, honestly. It's just so useful that it feels natural. Basically, when retopologizing, you need to make sure that the new mesh snaps to the
Sven, you
surface
can
of the
sit
old
down.
scoped mesh. RetopOflow does that automatically with tools that allow you to make loops and easily slide points
have
into place
not
and smooth them out.
Used it
Behind me is
before,
a little
but
demo
I
of the
might
different
look
tools
into
that
it.
adapt. It's
Looks like
gorgeous.
something that will
Honestly,
make
it's just
it,
beautiful. Just remember to hit
not
Control S to save when in the RetopOflow
reconsidering, you know,
menu.
as
Especially
like
if you're
living.
using an
I
old
think
dusty
you like
version
it.
of
I think
Blender
I've
like
tried to
me.
use
I
RetopOflow
once didn't
before, but
save
that
before
looks
exiting the
kind of neat.
menu, and well, I lost like an
Okay.
hour of work that I was really proud of.
What's this?
But yeah, this tool makes retopology a lot less scary.
Fuck me, look at him, mate.
Once you have a mesh that is low enough poly for VRChat, it's time to start placing your rig. Let's refresh what I talked about last year. Humanoid VRChat avatar requires the
Huh?
following
What?
bones.
There's a little bit of spine in
chest,
everyone.
torso.
Spine mentioned. Let's
You
go.
have shoulders, upper arms, lower arms, hands,
Oh,
thumbs,
there's
index,
guys
middle ring,
coming.
and little fingers.
You're famous, bro.
Your legs need to
Gary,
have the
come
upper
on,
legs,
Gary.
lower legs, and feet bones. A toe bone is optional, but it's still good to have.
I didn't know. I didn't
And
know
when
they were
referring to a toe bone
collabing
in
with the
singular, I'm
Great
referring to a
Spine
single
Blade.
toe root bone that holds all of the individual toes.
Says
Finally,
it
the
me.
head area needs a neck, head bone, 2 eye bones, and optionally a jawbone. I always give my models a jawbone so that I can easily
Go on,
move
bro.
around
Take a
when I'm
seat.
done making
Yo.
the inside of it.
Every time somebody says Kobe, I think you're going Kobe and throwing something.
Information dense.
Your bones also need to be in the correct order, or else Unity won't like it.
Sake.
A parent
Come
bone
on.
is
Get
one
it.
with the others. Child bones are the ones that move in cooperation with
Like
the
a little
parent.
teddy bear.
Is that Mr. Blueson?
Parent to the lower leg, foot, and toes.
Second.
Foot is the only parent
Everybody
to
look at my new teddy bear, bro.
bone beneath the upper leg will move when it
Oh, the
does.
Blueson got an outfit.
What?
And all the bones
Go here and
together
then I'll
restore
go
the structure.
You'll have to turn to do that,
Create your
Kobe.
bones, go to add
You see the
armature,
size of my
single
horse?
bone.
It's not chefing
This
easily.
first bone will be your hip bone.
Yeah,
It's your neck
okay.
you need to turn, Kobe.
Let's go look into
Adam,
the
and move your
orange
fat
data
hole.
properties
Oh,
tab.
there we go, thank you. Oh, sorry, no, no, no,
Now your bones will
So
always be
rude.
completely
Got him.
aligned
That's
with
exactly
the
what I
mesh.
wanted him to say.
Go into edit mode.
I like that.
Move that bone
Fitting,
to the hip.
fitting.
To make
I
the
wish
bone
I could
chain
see it, but I can
around
kind of see it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well.
Waiting to find if other people decided that DDR was a good decal to put on them. Not that found one yet.
yeah.
You'll add
Yo,
your spine, chest,
Adam.
neck, and head bones next.
I've
Remember to
got
name them
some
in the
for you.
green bone
Hang on,
tab
where
or
is
else
it?
it'll
Yeah,
close
look at my new
the
teddy bear, bro.
It looks like it's near about
Probably.
But notice
In the
you
most
can
positive
where
way
the chest bone
possible.
ends and where the shoulder
It's a
begins.
Kubek
So
sale
your
size,
Oh,
right?
they
Have to
can.
get custom.
Duplicate a bone.
Yeah, it's
Put
holding
it
on
into
for dear
position for
life.
the shoulder. And
So, the
select the
bubble's
shoulder bone
fine.
first, and then the chest
Panel,
bone,
panel,
and then
foot working
as you select
panel.
it. Right click, hit parent, make, and then keep
I mean,
offset.
that belt,
But now you only have
it
one
is,
shoulder.
that is,
So click it,
it's
duplicate it, and then rise to
trying.
the other side. Name the first one left shoulder or shoulder
Look,
underscore.
I'm wearing
Doing its
clothes for the
hardest.
first time, and this time, this is groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, this is.
Turn on symmetry
Yeah,
mode
this
and
is
then move the bone into its
groundbreaking.
correct position ever so slightly. The other will automatically snap into the right place.
Is that
That's
the
And now,
fucking
as you make
joke?
more
Right,
arms,
okay,
they'll
fine,
automatically show up on the other side. The same principle can be applied to the leg bones. Remember to name them accordingly as you go along,
missed
always with
some
underscore
mini
F
edges
or
already.
underscore R to mark
I
them.
may him not make
For
it.
now, put a pin in making the eye bones. I'm going to cover that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Spine.
To make fist bones for the tails or ears, I recommend using a chain of at least 3 bones to achieve a nice flowy look. For anything that doesn't need to flow, such as toes, I only add 1 bone. Keep in mind that Quest has a fist bone limit of 64 bones, and this includes end bones. End bones get automatically added to an exported FBX by default. Quickly open the export menu and click on FBX. Under the armature section, there's a checkmark that says add leaf bones. Make sure you choose to not add those, or else you'll
No,
accidentally
thank
end
you.
up doubling your fist bone count. Once you have the bones set up, the next step is to rig or weight paint them so they actually control the
Bro,
movement
I'll
of the
tell you
mesh.
right.
I went over this
set
last year
the
too,
paper
but it's just one of the most
out
intimidating
for my
steps, so we're doing a
coat,
detailed refresher.
And the
For
minute
this
I
step,
do that,
recommend having
I
Cast
get
Blend
banned.
Blender plugin installed.
Lose me big
I
door.
literally only use this
From
tool to easily
paper,
jump in and
people
out
would
of pose
ban
and
me
resets the pose over
immediately.
time. And to make Visine, aka lip sync shape keys. There honestly might be another tool
You know,
that
when I
does this,
actually
but this is
try
just
to
what I've
earn
been doing
money,
this whole time.
you're
You
banned.
can find this plugin on GitHub, but to my understanding, this is no longer the official version, as it's not being updated.
That's why I don't trust PayPal. They just ban you for no fucking reason.
Select your armature and your model at the
This
same
is
time.
like kind of
Make
a
sure your
part 2
armature
for the
is
one they did
yellow,
at Somnia,
yellow
so it
parent
goes
weights.
into some more
Then
advanced
right
stuff.
click, hit parent, and automatic weights. Your model has now been moved beneath your armature. This means that it's parented to it.
Thank you. I need a little like.
Now, click on
Generally,
the
I was
data
kind of
properties tab
expecting
in your
everything to be
model.
the
It has what are
exact
called
same in
textures.
this Somnia,
Textures are
like
basically tags for
event-wise.
specific vertices of your mesh. With the automatic weights option, your model automatically gets assigned vertex groups that match your armature's bones, and weights to go along with them. Now, select both your armature and your model again, but this time the model needs to be
I need to
yellow.
go on my right side.
Now,
Fuck.
You're done.
enter weight paint mode. Your mesh will turn blue. Shift-click on any bone to enter that bone's vertex
I
group.
want to see this bit.
Red means that a bone has full control over that area. The automatic weights option honestly does a really good job at defining a human reference,
Great, now
but
I
it still
have
needs some touching up here and there.
a
The
valley
two most important tools are the
ass in
draw
my
and the
face.
blur. Draw is how you draw on weights.
I'm
You can change
determining
the
Hey,
name,
you're-
set the draw
Hey, you're the one who moved, so
Zero
that ain't my
is
problem.
no control or blue.
I'm not complaining.
Distribution between your bones if your model is pinching oddly.
Also, I think
God
that's
damn
probably
it.
one of your,
Another
like,
tool is the
major
gradient
days,
tool.
so, like,
You can click and drag it in a
I don't
direction
have
and
the
it will
same
make a
batteries
gradient
everyone
effect.
else.
I might just
Erasing
do
or
this.
adding
Last
more
them an
weights.
entire day. I only have
There we
Use this to
go.
make sure that
per
areas
charge.
that aren't supposed to be
I'll just do
weighted
that.
aren't. Since it sweeps over the entire mesh.
Not unless I have a battery pack on my back.
My left arm was starting to die, so I had to turn over.
Is my battery?
Under the options menu, there's also something called auto normalize. This option
Oh.
makes sure that there's
I
always
now
a
have
value of
I now
one
have your
for the
crotch in my
entire
face.
model. This is really good for when you're painting things like fur.
So I was
the
changing-
automatic
I was
weights
changing
option isn't gonna work
stuff.
properly.
Fuck.
It can
I
also
don't want to
help
get
you make sure
banned,
that
but
there
put
aren't areas where
put your
there is no
crotch
weighting, which
away.
can lead to smearing. However, it can also sometimes
I
cause
need
some
to make
errors.
sure to take
Since it's always trying to make sure that the model is fully
I can't wait
painted when
for
you use the
the
blur
volume to be
tool,
at like
it can sometimes make some weird
Damn it!
artifacts.
Now you've gone down into the ground.
Well, I'm sorry, bruh.
On shift last
Turn on the
year.
paint mask.
It's all your fault, bro.
You can either
Want to be the
flip
first
the
photo?
faces directly to the mask, or you can select
Die.
everything that's connected. Then you can hide anything under
Your
the
eyes
mask.
profile so your
H,
eyes don't
hide
focus on
anything
my
selected
when I
with Shift
speak.
H,
Boost
and
him
also
up,
hide
sure you should be
H.
inviting us to.
You'll have to exit the mask selection mode to change which bone you're focusing on.
Yes.
Now that you know how to use the paint tools, let's quickly see what the automatic weights
bringing
look
it up
like.
more.
And oh,
Like a little
goodness.
lollipop.
You see the cast blender
thinking.
plugin I
Carry
talked
on.
about earlier? Enter the pose mode from the toolbar.
That's right.
It's a great starting place, even
gotta-
if it's
I gotta
a
make
little
sure
terrifying.
He's flipping.
avatars that
Just
I
looking at
fully
this demo,
show so
everything
nothing
here
falls
needs
out
work.
of
The arms
frame.
twist way too much in the middle, causing pinching.
I got
The
it.
legs pinch underneath the knee.
I like when you just do that silly little
ears are
blip.
just completely out of whack.
There we
If you
go.
want to focus on a specific
There we go.
area, you can set the pose in pose mode, then switch back to
Alright,
object
everybody,
mode, and then
close your
back into
eyes
weight
and
mode. You'll be able to paint while seeing how it affects the focus movement in real time. This process is a lot of trial and error. Paint a little
There we
bit, see how
go.
it moves, and if it doesn't move right,
Five,
keep touching it up until it does.
4.
No.
It's time for a water break for the fan.
Yay! I couldn't see
W
anything for
water
5
break.
seconds.
W water break.
Excellent.
Do you have games on your phone?
The fan has
You have
been
games on your phone?
Like,
I have games on my
like
phone.
the,
eye bones.
Well,
Creating
what
eye
did...
bones can be a bit of a pain. They need to be perfectly
think
at
it's
the
just
rotation
like
point of
VRAM.
the eyes so that your eyes don't
It's
wobble
just
around
that the
inside your head.
fan has drunk
So here's how you
water.
get the perfect eye
Resolution
bone
did you take
location
it at?
every time.
Clear.
To prepare, go
4K.
wherever your eyes are.
The fan
If
has
your arms
drunk
are the same mesh as the
water?
rest of your body, select
There's
the
a
right
fan
click
that
and hit
needs
separate by
water out
selection.
there?
Then hide
No, I
your
said
eyes and
W
your scenes will focus
water.
on the eyes.
And I
No,
If
there's
your eyes are
subtitles
spheres
down
or
there.
even
Just
spheres
that
with flat surfaces, iris will
the
use
fan
Gargie's
has had
method.
water.
In edit mode, separate the right and left
Yeah.
eyes just how you
upload all my
separated them
photos
from the
because it's on my
body.
C drive,
Then
which
in
is
object
much
mode, simply choose
significantly
one of the two
smaller.
eyes,
Being
hit
adorable.
object, set
I'm
origin,
fucking
and
getting
then
my
set your
water.
max.
Went to changing it.
Suck it.
That was
Next,
lazy.
have your eyes
Stop
selected
being
and press
adorable, bro.
Shift H, then
No.
cursor to selected or cursor to active.
Yeah.
Also, I'm
This is how
not.
you move your cursor.
You are. You
can
just
snap next
said
to it
no.
easily,
That
and
means
in
you
this instance,
admit
you'll be
to
snapping
it.
eye
Back
bones.
to deck. Oh yeah.
I'm not.
Turns out it is still
In
in
your
my
You
armature,
literally,
make
I
two
literally said
two
stop being
bones.
adorable and you went no. That just means you think you're
Now
adorable.
click on one eye
I
bone,
wasn't
press
adorable in the
Shift
first
and
place,
then
so
focus
It
the
can be
cursor.
repaired, so presumably
You are.
The head point moves
I don't know about
so
that.
the tail is directly above it. You want to do this by
Bro,
copying
I
the
can
action
use your
line positions
tail
of
as
the
a
head point
fan.
to the tail point.
See if it's got like your old one
You can
in
do
the
this under
bathroom.
Pretty hot outside, huh?
Also with staff, make sure that the roll of the eyes is set to 0. Otherwise, your eye bones will rotate at weird increments within Unity.
Damn. ASMR. This is the content I signed up
Once your eyes
for.
are joined, hit Object, Apply,
It's
and then
not just
Transform.
having one monitor though, it's
So reset
having
your eye's
one
origin point back to the
very
origin of the world.
low
This is
monitor.
important because otherwise
Free
you won't be able to
Valley
mirror all
ASMR.
I'm
Let's
gonna bop with
go.
this.
50.
I mean, I'm just
Make it so that
saying
the eye bones are
that I
100% weighted to their
that
respective
having
eyes
one,
and nothing else.
but I
Also make sure that there are no other bones
I
like the
don't
head,
know
neck,
the
or jaw
luxury of
that have
two.
any control over the eyes, lest your eyes become squishy
even though I
like
think
jello.
I could probably manage that.
I got used to
I also
having
always
two when
add
I
what are
went
called eye
to
caps to my
college,
model.
and now I
This
just
is an
can't
inner black ring
operate
that
with
circles
the
the eye
monitor
socket.
anymore.
Yeah,
Because I
well,
flattened the iris
no,
and
'cause it's
pupil of my eye,
I don't know why, but
you'll
your
find that it just looks
ridiculous.
your
wrong to be
avatar
able
is
to
making
see
me
the front
freaking
of the
like
corner of my eye.
drop frames. I don't
This
know
is
what
just
the
works
fuck
by
is
pressing
going
down
on
the
with
so
it.
you can make one really easily by
Oh,
duplicating the inner ring of the eye socket.
No, because it's optimized for the Quest. It should be fine.
The new one's
Now,
1440,
if
the
your
old
eyes are
one's
flat,
1440.
your job is a little
Yeah,
bit
we'll
harder.
eventually get to
With your eyes separated
1440
from
one.
any other
Literally, the
meshes,
only
add a
thing
UV
that's
sphere and
different
object.
about this compared to the PC version is it has slightly more fizz bones
Don't be afraid to make the sphere
I don't know
the
what the
size of
fuck is
and
going
different
on,
shadings.
man.
That's all.
on opposite sides from the actual mesh itself.
Especially
Once the
getting
sphere lines up with
information.
how you want the eye planes to rotate, you're going to
wanna
want to do the same process
kick
as
this
the
thing's
spherical
ass.
line, but on this UV sphere. Set the origin to the center of its mass, snap the cursor to its origin, and then snap the eye bones to that point. Weigh the eye bones. There we go. Weigh your eyes to the bones and test it in pose mode. And to make sure that your eyes are rotating on the proper path without any clipping, and then you're done. However, it is very important to keep in mind that this method requires a little bit of extra setup whenever you get into Unity. Because this method often leaves you with eye bones that are really far
It's
away.
only sometimes
these
it
eyes are
freaking does that. I don't know
incredibly
what the
sensitive
fuck.
to rotation in comparison to spherical ones. In preparation for the Unity setup, make sure to add ghost eye bones that are not weighted to anything but are right behind the eye planes themselves. I'm going to cover this on the Unity side later, so hang tight, we're not there yet.
You know, official. Oh.
Yeah, where's your fucking badge?
Cover shape keys.
Ah.
Here I went over how to make lip sync shapes.
Where's your
with a little bit of help
fucking
from the chat
badge,
learner
mate?
plugin. So let's look at something a little bit different. A blink shape.
One of them said
Clicking keys
that.
on avatars with large eyes can sometimes be a little bit difficult. Since the shape key moves from
Shape
0
furry.
to 100 in a linear movement, it can't account for the curvature of the eye.
Huh?
So you need to make sure that when your eye closes, it
Yeah,
doesn't
shape
click to
furry.
the eyeball on its way down.
Something
To do this, I
furry?
push out the eyelid further than you'd expect it needs to go when closed. I also utilize massive eyelashes to cover the
You said
overlapping
something furry.
Your eyelashes don't need to be nearly as big as mine. but I
What
recommend
did you
some
say?
level of lash line.
Furry.
This is a fun night.
I just said, one of them just said, where's your fucking badge?
No.
If you just texture on a black line for your lashes, when the mesh
I left it
stretches to
at the
close your
soap
eyelids,
store.
this is when that
No.
smear dye.
I thought it showed
on the website.
Do some very extreme expressions with the physical mesh and being used as a lash line, which is a very, very
Why are you buying clothes at a soup store?
impossible without a physical mesh.
My VPN up when I checked it.
Yeah, probably.
To make your shape keys, go to the Shape Keys tab under the green Object Data Properties tab. I'm currently utilizing an add-on called Shape Keys Plus to help organize my shapes, but the process is exactly the same for the default Shape Keys manager.
I thought they were gonna say, to help me organize my shit.
And then enter edit mode. Move your mesh into whatever you want this key to look like. Make sure to not change the basis, as that is your mesh's default position. Use a proportional editing button to help move points smoothly into place. You can also use Sculpt Mode to assist in making shapes, but remember that Sculpt Mode doesn't leave you with a perfectly symmetrical mesh, so you'll have to hit Snap to Symmetry in edit mode when you're done.
Yeah,
like
one on EST time, one on like time.
I do have battery packs set up.
Once you have a blink shape that blinks both eyes, you should also go ahead and make one for each individual eye blink. Our eyes don't have to blink in sync, so you should also give your avatar this ability too. Make two new shape keys, blink L and blink R. Select one half of your model, go to that side's corresponding blink, and hit Control V to copy a blend shape. Choose the blink that we've made before, and uncheck Add to make sure that it copies the shape one-to-one. Do that with the opposite side's blink, and then you're done. Keep in mind that you can copy shape keys or parts of shape keys around. This is really handy if your shapes ever get asymmetrical, or if your asymmetrical keys get mirrored. If a shape that's been mirrored overlaps in the middle vertex, you'll need to copy 50% of the full shape to one side's middle vertices and 50% to the other.
For like half an hour.
That way, when the two meet in the middle, it makes the full normal shape and doesn't stretch too far.
Right, that's why I got stick
Wow, look at that.
Next, I'm going to cover UVs. To my shock, a lot of people actually really don't like making UVs. Personally, I love it. Again, it's something I find akin to a puzzle, and I love puzzles. I said this last year, but I still think it's a really good analogy. The UV of a model is basically its sewing pattern. Think about how the sewing pattern of a fursuit is made, if you've ever seen videos of those. You put duct tape all around it and draw out where you're going to cut. When you cut the tape apart, the pieces will lie flat, so you can use them as a template for how to cut apart your fabric. The duct tape is the UV, the lines and scissors are your seams, and the fabric is the texture. Seams are red edges that mark where your UV is to be split. You can mark seams in edit mode by selecting your lines, right-clicking, and selecting Mark Seam. You can also do a neat little trick to be able to mirror your seams. Select one seam, go to Select, Similar, and then Seam. Once all of your seams are selected, go to Select again, and then choose Select Mirror. Then you can mark all of them as seam again. When selecting the mirror parts of your mesh, you can also turn on Extended.
It's been one of those fucking days, huh?
And we'll also select the mirror. And now both selection and seam no longer sound like real words. Now, heed my warning. Do not ever, ever, ever use the Smart UV option. I know that it seems like a hassle to have to cut the seams into your model and manually make your UVs, but I promise you it will be worth it. The Smart UV option will automatically cut apart your model, yes, but it also makes a ton of tiny little islands that are impossible to texture properly. And you'll also inevitably get overlaps. So just save yourself the trouble and do it the right way on your first time, please.
Just making like a quick and dirty thing for like.
On to how to make UVs properly. Navigate to the UV editing tab. You'll see a new window pop up called the UV editor. And if you don't have it, you can always change your windows by clicking the button in the top left corner and choosing any from the list. You can also add extra windows by right-clicking on the top bar and clicking either vertical or horizontal split. Now that we're in the right window, we can start. Individual parts of the UV pattern are called islands. These islands need to be far enough away that the textures won't bleed into each other, but close enough that you can have a really high-res texture. A small UV island means it has less pixel space, which increases the blurriness. You can check the size of your islands and how they'll look with a texture with something called a UV grid. Click on Add Image and then change the type to UV Grid to add one.
No, it's a terrible idea for avatars.
You can also show a heat map of texture distribution to see where high and low levels of pixel density are. Generally, the bluer the better. And you can turn on something called Sync Selection, which does exactly what it says. It syncs the selection between the 3D view and your UV view. This can be really helpful when organizing your islands. The way that I mark my seams is to first make a cut all the way down the center of the model. That way, the UVs can be perfectly mirrored.
Like those games.
Sorry about that.
The shoulders,
Fucking
wrists, hips, tails, ankles, neck, and so on.
Yeah.
On parts that are more tube-shaped, such as the arms, I'll make one cut lengthwise. If you make two seams running down one arm, you'll end up with two islands for one arm. This will function, but it can be a little bit confusing for someone else using your textures. But with only one seam, you'll have one island per arm. The trick is to use the least amount of cuts to get the least amount of islands, but to keep them as flat as you possibly can. And when you make a good amount of progress, you can create your UVs in edit mode by hitting the UV button and pressing Unwrap. A drop-down will pop up where you can easily change the margin of your islands. You can also, of course, manually move them around, and I like to organize them so that they correspond with the left and right sides of my model. But that's just me. You don't have to do that.
Mapping seams.
Applying all transforms is a small but very, very important step. It's best practice to have everything on your model scaled at 1 and the location and rotation set to 0. Your mesh, your bones, everything. This makes your life a lot easier if you later want to add extra assets to your avatar, and it won't mess up any locomotion animations in VRChat. In object mode, simply select everything and go to Object, Apply, and then All Transforms. In addition to doing that, don't be lazy like me and decide that you later want to scale something in Unity just a little bit and then leave it at something like, I don't know, 1.2 or something. No. Take it back into Blender, scale it to whatever you want it to be, apply all the transforms, and then take it back into Unity. Learn from my mistakes, because that was a big one. It seems very small and inconsequential, but I promise you, if you're lazy, it will come back to bite you.
Is literally just reset your transforms, and that's it.
Once all is done and made and you're ready to export, you'll need to export your model as an FBX. Firstly, rename your main mesh to body and merge any of the pieces together. VRChat doesn't like to have to deal with multiple rigged meshes, so merge as many as you can. To make sure you export it properly, here's a few settings I'll go over. Firstly, you can check a box to limit your export to selected objects only. This is always good in Blender files where you have things that you don't want to export yet. It will only export the things you have selected, so always double check that you have all of the necessary things selected. Next, make sure to turn on Apply Scalings to FBX All. This makes sure that in Unity, your scale is at 1 instead of 100. I already mentioned leaf bones, but I'll say it again. Make sure to uncheck adding leaf bones. It's under the Armature tab. Right under the Armature tab is the option to bake animations. This is how you'll export any animations that you decide to make in Blender within your FBX. I went over how to make hand animations last year, so if you want to see that, go find my panel from last year on Furality's YouTube channel. Save these settings, click the plus button at the top, and add a new operator preset. Then anytime you want to export, just click on the preset you made. Be sure to save your FBX in a place where you'll remember it's located, and then export it.
I'm assuming we'll be in as soon as the club opens.
Blender's export settings aren't the only thing that's important. Unity's import settings are too. I'm going to expect that you have Unity set up with the VRChat SDK, but if you don't know how to do that, there are a bunch of tutorials that you can follow that make the process as painless as possible. In Unity, all you need to do to add an FBX is to drag and drop it into the Assets folder, which is the bottom window. Click on the FBX. On the right side is the Inspector. This is where you set the import settings. Firstly, turn on read/write. Next is a little correction that I made from last year. For me, I found that the best settings for the FBX's normals, goodness gracious, are to turn legacy blend shape normals to off. Can you tell that this is confusing stuff? And then set both normals and blend shape normals to import. And I always just change the smoothing angle to 90. Basically what this means is that the normals, aka how the model calculates shadows and such, are imported. This will also save any custom normals that you do in Blender to smooth out any fur. These settings will also keep your FBX's file size right in between the other two settings I'm going to talk about. If you set legacy blend shape normals to on and the normals to calculate, it will accurately keep the shadows on blend shapes, but it will not retain any custom normals. The top example showing the heel fluff shows that. This will also jack up your model's size, which is bad for optimization. The last option is to keep legacy blend shape normals on, set the normals to import. This keeps your custom normals, but will completely ruin the normals on body changing blend shapes. You can see an example of that behind me. This setting also leaves you with the smallest FBX size, so if you're really strapped for space on something like a quest upload, you can turn this on. Questies just won't see proper shadows on any blend shapes. But if you don't have any body altering blend shapes, you might as well use this setting set and take advantage of the small size.
I did it for one of my other avatars.
Next, move to the rig tab and set the animation type to humanoid. Hit apply and then configure. This is where you'll change the bones and muscle settings. Check to make sure all the correct bones are in their place, and under head, remove the jaw, if you have one, by clicking into it and hitting the delete key. On an avatar with Visemes, you don't want the jaw to be controlled by a bone, you want it to be controlled by your shape keys. Under the muscle settings, you can control how far certain bones will move. I make my models with a digitigrade rig setup, so I use this to restrict any movement of the lower leg into the thigh. I also use these settings to change how the fingers move. Paws don't need to move nearly as much as human fingers do in order to close all the way, so I limit the value of each finger's stretch to about half of its original. This is especially helpful if you don't have custom finger animations.
You have yourself a good time.
If you made any animations in Blender, you can get them out of your FBX by selecting them and pressing Ctrl D to duplicate them. For any animations that move parts of the humanoid skeleton, you must do this after applying the rig. For anything like tails and ears that aren't part of the humanoid skeleton, you must do this before applying the rig. Now, to add the FBX to a scene, just drag it from the Assets folder into the left-hand panel. This is the hierarchy. Click on your model and press Add Component on the right. Search for the VRChat avatar descriptor and add it. Change the eye height to right between your model's eyes. This is where your eyes will be when you're wearing the avatar. The exact placement can get a little bit finicky, so mess around with it until it feels right. Under the lip sync, press Auto Detect. As long as your body mesh is named Body and your Visemes have the right names, it will detect them automatically. Otherwise, you'll need to manually input them. Under Eye Look, press Enable. Enter your eye bones and then press Preview on the rotation states. Remember to keep your eyes roll at 0 and keep them straight up and down in Blender, or else you're going to have a hell of a time trying to fiddle with these values. Just below the eye rotation states are the eyelids. This is where our blink shapes will go. You can also add eyelid movements with shape keys when you look up or down. Below the eye states are the playable layers. This is where you can add custom animations. The two most important ones are FX and gesture. Hand animations will go into the gesture layer, and expressions and basically everything else will go under FX. To get these layers working, you'll also need a menu and a parameters list. I'm not going to cover this because, honestly, I think this is one of the most covered topics in VRChat tutorials, so here's a bunch that helped me. There's a lot you can do with the animation controllers, but they are pretty confusing. Even still, it's best to learn how to do things manually before using tools like VRC Fury that will help make toggles and such automatically. When I first started in Unity, I worked for hours trying to get animation controllers to work. And when I couldn't, I just went to bed crying. So be kind to yourself as you learn. It's very hard, but it does get better, I promise.
The Ultravox prism rule.
Now, what happens if you have your mesh imported, your settings perfected, but you need to change something about the FBX? Trust me, that sort of thing is going to happen a lot. To perfect my FBXs, I probably have to re-import them into Unity over 100 times. Thankfully, it's actually really easy.
Getting into the
Find the FBX you want to replace, right-click it, and hit Show in Explorer. This will show you exactly where that file is within your Unity save. See the meta file? That's where your import settings are stored. In another File Explorer tab, open up where you saved your FBX. Make sure that they both have the exact same name. Drag it into the Unity version and hold Control to copy a file. Alternatively, you can right-click to copy a file and then right-click again to paste it. It will ask you if you want to replace the file, and we do, so hit yes. This will replace the actual FBX itself, but it won't touch your import settings. That's pretty neat, huh?
Good.
Now, if you've changed any of the bones around, you'll have to go into the avatar editor again, hit Configure, Reset Pose, and then Enforce T-Pose, or else Unity's gonna throw a hissy fit. When you're going to be re-importing your mesh a lot, it's a good idea to keep your FBX bundled together as a prefab. This keeps it connected to the original FBX because it knows, hey, I'm a version of that thing. You can tell that something is a prefab when it's labeled in blue. Anything that's been added to it will be labeled in white. Your model will be able to remember its bone's original position when it's saved as a prefab of its FBX. If you see a bone that's been moved from that original position, you can click on it, find the property that's been changed, it's marked in blue, right-click, and hit Revert. As a prefab, you can also change the prefab it's linked to. This is handy if you have multiple versions of the same FBX. To do this, you duplicate the model in the hierarchy. Look under the inspector on it, and you'll see where it says prefab and then whatever the name of your FBX is. Click on the FBX to go to it. On this model, I have two different FBXs with two different jaws. To change the version, just drag and drop the other FBX into the prefabs area and hit replace and keep overrides. And then boom, all the things like fizz bones that have been added to the model have been kept the same. Now, I'm going to show off a neat little advanced trick. Take a look at my antenna. I have two versions of these, one short and one long. I need to be able to swap between the two by scaling the bones. But if they're controlled by the same bones, then that would be impossible. They would both scale at the same time. So each antenna actually has its own chain of bones that they're rigged to. They move completely independently of each other. But if I try to turn all of those into fizz bones, then that would significantly add to my fizz bone count. And 64 is a small limit when you've got a tail as big as mine. What we can do is we can create ghost bones. These are bones that have no weights over anything at all, but will still be affected by physics. In the case of my antenna, I have a chain of antenna bones that match up perfectly to the position of the ones that actually control the movement.
I actually got a ping reply from Dolphin.
These ghost bones are then used by the VRC fizzbone component, and then each corresponding bone on the real antenna chain uses constraints. A constraint is when one bone follows either the other's position, rotation, or scale of another bone. There are a few other types of constraints too, but those aren't important right now. With rotation and scale constraints, both chains will move at the same time, with the same physics, and can be affected by scale animations on the fizzbone chain. However, I can also independently scale the root bones to the antenna chains to hide or show either type.
Bean wiggle power.
It's good to have a
Here's another example of the same trick but used in a different way. I've got 4 toe bones that I want to move around on each foot, but uh-oh, now I have too many fizz bones and that won't be quest compatible. In addition, you can only put 1 root bone into 1 fizz bone component, and you have a limit of 8 fizz bone components on quest. So, ghost bones to the rescue again. I duplicated the normal toe bones and kept them in the exact location as the real bones. For this demonstration, they're separated. This includes the toe root, which will help me keep the left and right toes separated. Remember, these ghost bones have no weights over anything at all. But instead of rooting these ghost bones to the feet, I root them to their own parent called Toes Fizz Quest. Now, I can put all of these bones into 1 fizz bone component. However, that's still too many bones. So we can tell the component to ignore some of them. Since we only have 1 bone in the chain, we also need to set an endpoint value. This is a very small number that tells the fizz bones how long it needs to be. Now, there are 2 fizz bones that will move independently around on each foot. Then we go into the real toe bones and rotation and constrain them to follow the movements of the ghost bones. However, we run into an issue. Because the root of the ghost bones is connected to the hip, these bones don't follow the feet, and thus the colliders will get really messed up in VRChat. So, we need to add a parent constraint to the left and right roots of the toe bones and constrain them to the real left and right toes. This means that the ghost bones will now follow the movement of the real toes. And finally, you have to make sure that is animated is checked on the fizz bone. I forgot to check it and spent a whole 2 days trying to figure out why the darn thing wasn't working. One checkmark can really ruin your workflow, let me tell you.
I didn't say much because I was weary in case they brought us up, but I wouldn't.
So, now that you know about constraints, I can finish off explaining how flat eyes work. Remember how I told you to add ghost bones to around where it would make sense for the eyes to be? Well, now we're going to use those. Rotation constrain your real eye bones to the ghost ones with a weight of anything lower than 0.2. It doesn't need to be a very high number. Then, in the VRChat avatar descriptor, change the eye bones to the ghost bones. That way, when VRChat tries to figure out where your eyes should be looking, it's more accurate.
Oh my gosh, Lau loves my fucking...
Once you've got a VRChat avatar descriptor on a model, you're basically good to upload it. Open up the VRChat SDK control panel and log in. Name your avatar, give it a thumbnail, and watch it go. I always do my initial testing in desktop mode. Getting in and out of a headset either on Quest or PC is a hassle and a half, so it's best to do all early and technical testing on desktop. Worlds that I like to go to test out my abbeys are MMD worlds. These are worlds that have preset dances. That way you can watch out for funky movements and wait, while also having fun by getting to see your creation dance. I also really love the Avatar Studio, which lets you take nice pictures and preset poses. Another great thing to have is Gogo Loco. This is basically a standard addition to most avatars you'll see. It lets you do different locomotion animations, which is good for checking out specific poses in higher detail. You can add this really easily through the VRChat Creator Companion. You'll also need something called VRC Fury to get it to work. This is a tool that's so robust and insane, it's basically just magic. Once Gogo Loco and VRC Fury are in your Unity save, just add the Gogo preset and you're good to re-upload. If your avatar isn't linking to the one you already have uploaded, don't worry, you can always go into the Content tab and copy the blueprint ID of the Abby and paste it back into the blueprint section to reconnect it. I mentioned that I use MMD for testing. Well, I'm also a really big advocate for MMD shapes being on all avatars. These are blend shapes that MMD animations use to animate the face. They need to be properly named with their respective Japanese characters, but most are just copies or variants of shapes that you'll probably want to make anyway. Like winks, sad faces, angry, and more. This is the full MMD facial expressions chart. You can find it on DeviantArt under the same name with a text list of all the characters for easy copy and paste access. Also, with MMD shapes added, it's really easy to get really nice expressive work in progress pictures without needing full body. Just snap a bunch of pics as your avatar dances and find the ones you like most.
Run by the Furality charity team, so it should.
And there we go! That's all that I could fit into this amount of time, but there's still a lot that I didn't cover. If you want to learn more, I'm always open for questions. I'll answer them to the best of my ability, and if I can't, I'll try to find someone else who can. I want there to be more avatar creators. It's such a fun community, and it's just an amazing way to express yourself and bring your art and characters to life. I'll be around for the whole Furality, and I'll be at the dealer stand meets as much as I can be. Find me at booth 1118, and if you could, please check out my Moontail base. I just updated it to V2, and I'm very, very proud of it. If you have any questions right now, I am open for them until our time is up.
I think I'm gonna go and recharge my things and do some stuff around my house before I get back out later.
See you later, Bean.
Hi, I'm here to read out some questions from the Discord. If you would like to ask some questions, you can do so in the Furality Discord channel. The first question that we have is from Wolf Luciana. What would be the best way to stop being scared of Blender? P.S. Love your work.
The best way to stop being scared of Blender is, I would say, honestly, just dive headfirst into it. Just try to make anything that you like. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be game ready, it can just literally be anything. Whenever I first started making my models, the first thing that I did was I just tried to make just a simple head of one of my characters, and that's literally all that I did. And even just doing that taught me so much. So yeah, just dive right into it. You don't need donut tutorials. You don't need those.
I'm glad you had an outfit.
Awesome. Next question is from Red Roses. Do you have any tips for creating smooth shape keys, specifically for blinking or biseams? And what would be the best thing for someone who is new to scratch work to practice making?
So to make nice, smooth shape keys, honestly, I really like to use sculpt mode whenever I make certain shape keys. For blinks, I don't necessarily do that. I just use the proportional editing because it's a lot harder with sculpt mode to get into like those tiny little details. But sculpt mode is a really good way to like change a lot about a mesh. And also there's the smooth option, the smooth tool, that is very, very helpful for smoothing things out. What was the second half of the question?
It's fairly ultra, yeah.
What would be the best thing for someone who's new to scratch work to practice making?
Oh yeah, again, anything that you want to, really. Anything that's gonna bring you joy specifically, because if you're having fun, that is literally the best that you can possibly do. Just focus on trying to have fun, and that's like half the battle, really.
Next question is from someone called Pygo. Do you use data transfer in Blender on Fluff? Could you go over driver in Blender versus Unity?
I do use the data transfer to like blur in my fluff. I don't have enough time to go over it because it's very in-depth, but there are a ton of tutorials on how to do that. And I also mentioned the import settings that are best for if you have fluff that has been data transferred. And again, what was the second part of the question?
Could you go over driver in Blender versus Unity?
Driver in Blender versus Unity. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what that means. I'm so sorry.
Next one is from Shohei. I am curious, what was the inspiration that led you to creating the Moontail, and how long did it take to finish the model?
Oh boy. So this is actually a species that's been around ever since I was like in very early high school. The inspiration was basically just, hey, what if I took this other creature that I made and put on some funky antenna on it and also split its jaw in half? That'd be really cool, right? And then boom, they existed. And then years and years later, I decided, hey, that would actually be kind of cool to make a base of. Gosh, the first like V1 for this avatar, I would say probably took around 6 months. Because I know that the V2 specifically took like 6 months to make. And then because I was in college, it took like a whole year technically, but 6 months of work. But yeah, making a base avatar takes a really, really long time, honestly. Yeah.
Next one is from KC3577. How can I prevent Unity from doubling the face counter in model import due to the replacement of 4-point faces with 3-point faces?
Ooh, that is. Ooh, you can triangulate it. In Blender, you can. Oh my gosh, what is the hotkey for it? I think it's like Control T or something like that. You can like triangulate something before you export it. I know that will lower the file size because Unity does automatically triangulate things, and I think so does Substance Painter also. So automatically triangulating things before you export them can be really helpful.
Narka is asking, I am going to be making my own avatar of my own species from scratch after Furality. Do you have any tips for me and others you haven't mentioned? Also, if you update a model, how important is it to keep the UV the same / backwards compatible with the previous version? Also, thank you so much for inspiring me to get into avatar creation. Love the Moontail.
I'm so happy for you. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited. You should totally join my Discord and show me because I would love to see it. First part of the question was tips and such on how to like make a base. Yes.
Any tips you have for me and others you haven't mentioned yet?
Honestly, I've mentioned a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. For base making specifically. I would say that UVs are really important.
Sorry about that.
And also labeling your UVs because there's a lot of people who don't.
Sorry
have
guys, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I just
texture
noticed
editors.
somebody
So
is
they will
typing in.
They will texture things in
In chat.
view instead. So
Hello
having
there,
a
Xander
like, a
Dog.
layout of your UVs that is labeled.
I don't know what's going on with this PC.
Another part of the question was.
I think that's the last one that we have time for. So, how important is it to keep the UV the same / backwards compatible with the previous versions?
So, honestly, pretty important. But if you're gonna be changing the entire mesh, like the V2 of this avatar is completely different from the V1. So the UVs are absolutely completely different, and people just have to deal with it because at the end of the day, it's my creation and it's your creation, and do what you want, basically.
I think that's all we have for the Q&A. Yes, thank you so much.
Enjoy your food. Yeah, you too.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for having us as well.
I'll have to read through that again at some point because that was actually really informative. What's up?
Tech Tea Party.
What is in Tea Party? Oh, hello.
What you done?
Just letting people know where he is.
Yeah. He's doing that all right.
Folks, something to tell you. We're all burbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ain't that great?
Look at that.
No,
Well,
I'm
except,
there and I'm like, look at the four of us.
they're like a. Like a dog dragon or something. I don't know.
I want to talk about the lizard. Right. Folks, I think we are split.
God damn it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you guys heading off for a break or what?
I'm gonna eat now, and then I'll drink a Red Bull
heading
before
off
the
in the
meat.
blender.
I'm gonna add a few wee things and organize some avatars. Eat something, sleep, probably get back on for about 11:30 or so, and then that'll be me.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll try and get an hour's sleep or so.
Because you're gonna be up for the ceremony and the club opener, aren't you? You're gonna need to. We're gonna be over there at 6 a.m. man. I think when we time it well, we can get up.
Only 6 a.m. Please.
I want to get up again for the Avala meet, and that'll give me a good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hackers with Tails panel. My name is Alafox, and I'll be talking a little bit about, I guess, the hacker community in general, and some stuff about conferences and an event that I help put on called DEF CON Furs and stuff like that. Hello, chat. I see you guys. saying silly things already. We'll be having a Q&A at the end as well. So there should be a Discord channel for this event called Hacker with Tales, where you can drop questions in throughout the panel, and then I'll try to address them towards the end with if there's still time. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm not gonna stay on the side too long, but basically, my name's Alphafox. I've been kind of in the InfoSec community for 10-ish years, and a full stack developer for a little bit longer than that. Definitely more of a application security background with also cloud security engineering experience. And I'm also the DevOps director for Furality. So doing a bunch of stuff. It's a lot of fun hanging out with a bunch of people. But I'm sure when you saw hackers with tails, when you hear the word hacker, the first thing you think of is probably something that looks like this, right? You know, somebody with a ski mask hacking away on the keyboard, right? I really love this one on the top right, where someone just comes in with a banana. It kind of feels that way when you're messing with things. You're just kind of poking at stuff, right? Or the Matrix, right? Looking all cool with this code, and especially if you see anything on like CSI or other TV shows, they're like enhance, and then it's just, and then all of a sudden everything works. And what was it in the movie Hackers? You have like this 3D animation of like flying through cubes of data. You know, probably in VR chat is the closest we're ever going to come to that. It's, you know, not obviously based on reality. Yeah, the Matrix video for the Starbucks wife. Yeah, so what is all this actually about, right? And you know, are we all, you know, at what point do you get given your membership ski mask? Not really ever, unless you're just memeing, right? So what is hacking? What is the hacker community in reality? It's a huge collaborative environment. You know, it's all about poking at stuff, figuring out how things work, and as much as the media paints it as sort of this ooh, bad guy, people doing bad things label, it's more of a term adopted by like the maker community and just people who like figuring out how things work.
But
and,
yeah,
and
I'm sorry,
their
I've been
own
freaking
stuff,
fighting
you know,
this
and
like
companies don't
this
want
issue
you to, you know,
with my
replace the
headset. Just
battery
like
in an iPhone. You just want you to
I don't know
spend
what the hell is happening with
$1,000
my
because
computer, but
why only pay $50 for a part when they can get another grand out of you, right? And stuff like that. And so people just like figuring out how things work, and there's a lot of cool ways to do that, and there's a lot of communities around that, all these different interests. I kind of talk about that a little later with the DEF CON villages. But you know, another big thing around, besides just like maker spaces, which are like people who groups that like the 3D
but after this, I'm
crayons,
gonna
or even like
restart my
wood shop, make things,
PC
build stuff with
again,
their
'cause-
hands, or maybe build programs out of code. A huge kind of part of the community is also lock picking, because it doesn't get any more like directly in the face of kind of defeating some kind of security mechanism as it does with literally lock picking a lock. Great time for the landscaping to come by. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can. So, you know, key question usually when you're dealing with something like this is, can I make this do something else, like something that it wasn't intended to do? And there's some pictures here from DEF CON and one of our suites. Right. Also, and like I said a little bit before, it's a collaborative community. A lot of these things are learned by someone who just decided to take something apart, if it's maybe an electronic, or try doing something they weren't sure was possible, and maybe obsessing on a really niche thing and figuring it out and getting, because they're super excited about it. And then what are you going to do? You're going to tell people about it, right? You're going to tell your friends. Maybe you go to a community meetup and be like, hey, I figured out how to connect, I don't know, a heart monitor to a DDR game, or, you know, a lot of the cool things that we do with OSC and VR chat, or just, you know, I made a smart display with code on, you know, on my wall. My fridge now connects to the internet. I don't know why we need to put Wi-Fi in these things, but, you know, things with technology, sometimes things are just physical, right? Tinkering with stuff. So hacker's more of a person who achieves goals by non-standard means, not just wears a ski mask and breaks into stuff.
That's funny.
Button, hello, button. Okay. So, where does this all kind of come into play with, you know, how people get involved, or even how does this intersect with the furry fandom? So, by default, the whole kind of vibe of the hacker community is sort of going against the normal, what something's intended for, right? And so you have a lot of subculture built by outcasts, where they're trying to, you know, whether they're fighting the power or just, you know, making their own space and improving their own space, providing needs for their community that maybe aren't met by the corporate industry because, you know, maybe the community is a little too niche or doesn't serve that profitability factor that usually, you know, could make your life better, but it doesn't make them any money, so why bother, right? And it kind of sucks that way. So we build stuff for each other all the time. A lot of that is also learning by doing. There's all these kinds of stuff that are projects by people, and you're kind of just figuring it out. And maybe you're the first person doing it, and you create that kind of tutorial, and then somebody else comes across it. And, you know, back in the day, we used to have, you know, Googling Stack Overflow before all this AI crap taking over all our search engines, but
those
you
goddamn,
know, there is
those goddamn
already,
clankers.
just by the nature of asking questions to the internet, you might have some random person who stayed up way too late fixing this random problem on a server and be like, yeah, actually, if you just change this one line of code that's not documented, you solve all of your problems. Those of you in the IT space probably remember days like that. But also, part of the community is embracing the weird. If you've never seen the movie Hackers, the 19 whatever one, not the 2000 whatever one, very much the defining kind of motif of memeing in that super stereotypical way than it is a serious documentary. And there's a lot of communities that kind of live by that fun hack the planet vibe, just because it's funny, really. And it's a lot about having fun. I got some pictures here where we had a fursuit photo at DEF CON closing ceremonies, just because we could, right? We just, hey, why not show up to DEF CON and just take a random fursuit photo, because who's going to stop us? And another picture from a different year we were just walking through.
Some anti-furs being like,
so, like I said, how does this kind of interact with the furry community? Well, there's a lot of makers in the fandom, especially if you're familiar with people who make fursuits. You've probably seen some really cool stuff online on Twitter or Blue Sky or Instagram, Telegram, whatever.
3D printed head base right there.
There's
Boom.
these really cool videos of people who are doing really interesting things, where they're kind of combining technology with physical craft. And it kind of started with way back of just doing basic things like a movable jaw, which is pretty standard today in most fursuits, but back then it wasn't. And, you know, they figured out, and today there's all kinds of cool systems on how to make it. You know, you see on this picture, they have some, not rubber bands, but it's stretchable string just to make the mouth naturally close, so it presses on your chin to talk when you talk, and it doesn't, like, it's not uncomfortable. But there's like all kinds of iterations and guides out there for how to do this. If you're a fursuit maker, this picture in the middle is someone who is putting servos that they have like animatronic eyes where it can blink. And I know that there's a couple fursuits out there where the ears can move. And what's all the rage right now, especially on the picture on the right, is there's 3D printed like fursuit head bases.
Which is what I have.
Like really revolutionize.
I have like
kind of
the right
that
side basically. It's like this hard
space
like
of being able to make some
this
really
hard
interesting
fucking plastic.
shapes
Oh, that's right. I showed you
in
guys.
a way that is maybe a little hard to do with foam, and because it's made out of certain kind of material that's really flexible, you can literally smash it with your hands and then it will pop back in shape. You can, you know, some people show that you run it over with a car and it just springs back to life, and it doesn't harm it at all. It's really, really lightweight because it's not solid. There's air holes. It breathes really well. It's really cool tech, right? And there's just people always experimenting with that kind of stuff. Another example, people putting screens for their eyes, LEDs, you know, obviously Protogens,
Virgin
and
2.
LED Matrix, and
It can be a
even
Gen.
LEDs in the fursuit, right? We like shiny. There's a
shiny, shiny, shiny.
People have heard this before, but there's a
Very shiny.
who came up with like a cooling vest in the U.S. military, and it got used in the military, and then it turned into a company. There's a couple companies now that do the same thing, but I think this one's called Easy Cool Down. And it's a cooling vest that you could buy for cosplaying, or if you work in a hot environment, you know, it keeps your body cold, so you can, you know, for the furries, fursuit longer, right? Really cool technology, whether it's some kind of physical application, something maybe code-based, something electronic. It doesn't always have to involve electronics. And I use fursuits here for an example because it's very obvious, like, to understand like where the technology is merging with something like a fursuit costume, right? Really cool stuff. Just people always experimenting with things and then sharing it online and how to do it. I think that's one of the key things. I'll talk about that in a couple slides. Other interesting things, especially within the hacker community, is badge life. Very expensive hobby because a lot of people are, you know, either 1 to 2 person groups or maybe even a community. They'll come up with a badge, looks really cool, and then, you know, you want to buy it because ooh, shiny and it blinks, and then you go to DEF CON, you realize there's 100 of these groups and you want all of them, and it's like, oh man, this is like going to the dealer's den. But it's really cool. Custom PCBs, uses blinking lights. You know, some of them have challenges on them, puzzles of different types, of different interests, right? And they're either, you know, you either wear them to be like, hey, I support this group, or it's shiny, or maybe it's even proving your skills. It's like the only way to get the badge is to solve a puzzle. And obviously we participate with that at DEF CON first. And there's the community in general. There's if you look at that bottom left there, that's one of our original PCB badges for DEF CON.
Oh, wow.
It's called the boot badge. I think I have a slide dedicated to it. But on the top right, that's just another badge made by someone in the community that just wanted to make a cool thing, and it does really cool stuff. You can see the chip on the eye, and it's cool design. And of course, with the furries doing the badge life, they always make it really cool with the artwork. You gotta make it look cool, right? It doesn't just have electronics, but it has that style. Fun thing that kind of came about at DEF CON was this thing called the shitty add-on standard, and it's called the shitty add-on because they just kind of drew a spec on a napkin and took a picture of that, and that was like the documentation. And the most professional way to display is this little shitty picture of like, here's 4 pins. It's simple standard. It's a little add-on you can put on other people's badges, and all your little trinket just lights up. It doesn't have any computer or anything crazy. And, you know, people have like the big badge with like this fox one, and there's a little pin header on there where you can put little trinkets, like a hat or something. And these pictures here with the Pikachu and the ghost and the Christmas tree, they're little tiny add-ons that you just pop on there and they blink and stuff. And sometimes they troll. Like there's the shitty add-on that turns off your badge, and all it does is it shorts the 2 pins together. So as soon as you put it on, it just shorts off the battery. Turn it back on, so you pull it off, because why not? And obviously we are what is not furry without a huge intersection in the IT industry, right? They say the furries rule the internet, right? We're kind of in every tech company, and we bring those skills to conventions and other things. Some pictures of activities at cons. Basically, we do all kinds of crazy stuff and bring enterprise grade solutions to a volunteer convention that might only have 100 people, because why not, right?
Why not be overkill? Fuck it.
Crazy VR conventions that have over 20,000 people connecting on servers that augment the way the VR chat platform even works, just so that we can have a semblance of a con, because why not, right? It's pretty cool. So it all kind of comes back to this community aspect. The maker ethos is open information, sharing knowledge freely, and teaching each other. One of the cool things about it is a lot of us start, you have an interest in something and you don't know how something works. So what do? You kind of Google it, you find someone who has the same interest, and you kind of hear about it from them. And usually you'll find some kind of community where it's like, hey, there's a bunch of people that all like, maybe, I don't know, figuring out how to run Game Boy Color games today without a Game Boy Color, or taking apart, I don't know, remote control cars and making them work, or putting cool technology, or building stuff. You'll find people that like that, and the people who do figure it out, especially like some of those fursuit things I showed earlier, they work really hard, they build it, it doesn't work, they make a new version, it doesn't work, they make a new version that's really nice, and be like, hey, I figured out how to 3D print heads. If you want me to 3D print you one, cool, you can talk to me over here. But also, if you want to do it yourself, here's the 3D file. Like, here's all of the steps. Here's like where I bought my material. Here's a 3D printer that I made. Here's the code that you need to turn that into that. Like, go have fun, improve on it. Here's a GitHub repo on how to do it. Here's some patterns on how to make your own fursuit.
I got
with fur.
My
and it's free, and it's just like a pattern library. I think there's actually someone in the dealer's den here at this con that has a pattern library for fursuit making. And it's always been really cool to just
pattern
see us,
library.
Like, hey, I figured out this really cool thing, and I want to share it with people. I want other people to know.
I'm assuming they're talking about matrices. I'd imagine.
And use it for just myself and not tell anybody. But like, here's how.
But you know what? I think that's exactly what it is.
Have this information, use it, learn from it, do better than me, and share back. Right? It's this collaboration. And this community around sort of these hacker spaces and maker spaces, that's really what it's about, is some really weird interest you have, you figure out something really cool, and then you share it with everybody. So with that, you're probably already a hacker, because you've probably already gotten frustrated with something, especially if it didn't work the way you did, and you know what, I'm going to make it do this instead. More than likely or not, especially with how tech literate people are these days, and how much the desire to be an animal forces you, like, where else do you just decide to play a free game like this and learn the entire principles of making a game model just so that you could have a tail and blue hair in a game? you opened Unity, maybe Blender, learn texture. Maybe you're not there yet, but it's kind of where we're all walking towards, right? A lot of us have learned the principles of game making just so that we can be silly in front of a mirror, right? It's
I literally tried to figure this shit out, so I guess I am.
So, this is what the hacker community is about, right? This kind of
Las Vegas, can't go to it.
These things, what can we do with it? How do we share these ideas? So where do we all meet up? Well, obviously there's, meetups and stuff like that, but in general, there's a really well-known, for the InfoSec community, it's called Hacker Summer Camp, as just a fun term, where there's this whole kind of list of independent events that all kind of happen within the same week or so in Las Vegas, usually around the first week of August, around the convention DEF CON and Black Hat. And there's a lot of independent cons. There's probably like 30 or so events that happen that week that have nothing to do with each other except the people that all kind of share going to it. And so I have some pictures up here of a Diana initiative, which is really focused on like bringing forward the women in the industry who are, you know, leading the way in certain aspects of security or talking about stuff. It's just like dedicated to promoting that. And DEF CON Furs is, you know, the event that I help run, obviously bringing focused around the furry community in InfoSec. And then the pitch on the right is logo for QueerCon, which is kind of one of the LGBTQIA plus groups around
Nice.
InfoSec that kind of have add-on events around everything. So there's a lot of culture of the people going to these things. You know, it's just as diverse as we are, and there's probably a little corner for everyone, right? And so I mentioned Black Hat. This is kind of one of the two. You got the one weekend, all the stuff in the middle, and then the other weekend. The first start is kind of like Black Hat. This is the corporate security one where you're probably going to be in business casual clothing. It's really expensive. You're only going if your work is taking you there, and you're sitting next to like government agency personnel, like, you know, FBI people who are learning about security, and like all of your coworkers if you work in security industry, and, you know, pretty much anyone in tech that they have dedicated panels and stuff, and it's the work conference very much vibe. And then you have okay, I didn't go to DEF CON X, but B-Sides, this is a really good one. B-Sides Las Vegas. This is
So they're all
grassroots,
Las
type
Vegas.
thing,
Or
organized by a group of volunteers. It's not so much of a corporate driven entity, and it's a much smaller convention. You get a lot more of that, you know, small con vibe from it versus the one that's like takes up the entire convention center.
Hi,
of the NGM
GG.
for
Hi.
Black Hat.
The chaos.
Different vibe. And then DEF
Hurry.
CON is sort of that other weekend where everything is in between. It's the big one where basically tries to embody the chaos of the movie Hackers. Everyone's wearing black. There's people doing parties everywhere. You know, there's a lot of chaos. It's also expensive, but not as expensive. You know, it's hundreds of dollars for a badge versus thousands of dollars, which can feel the same in this economy. But, you know, there's a scale. Over 30,000 people taking over. Used to be within casinos. Now it's kind of contained in the new in the Las Vegas Convention Center. And you know, the conference element is there, but it's also this sort of space where all of these.
I'm doing alright. I mean, other than like PC, just like
mini events within the event.
shitting itself a little bit. But after
Hello,
this,
Quest overlay. I did not.
after
mean
this
you.
panel, I'm
Thank you.
gonna restart my computer again.
So very loud, very chaotic, and probably the
I'm
closer
gonna keep-
thing to a furry con than the other, which is more just your 9
Probably
to 5
ultra.
type vibe. And obviously we show up there. Picture of Soatok, who was giving a talk at the Quantum Crypto Village, which is part of the official con. Lots of smart people involved in everything. One of the key things DEF CON is LineCon. We all talk about LineCon with registration. At DEF CON, you don't have to stand in line for reg, but people choose to. They don't have typically you don't register for DEF CON. You just show up, you hand them cash, and they hand you a badge, and then you fuck off. There's no additional information.
There you go.
exchange,
Fuck off.
and
Goodbye.
It's very, very fast.
Bye.
'Cause you just- and you're done. You're done with reg. But it's part of the culture, and we also love hazing the new people. So we say, oh my God, the registration line is very long. There's like 30,000 people. You need to go the night before and camp it out like Black Friday. So reg will open, you know, Friday morning or even on Thursday, and we'll be like, yeah, the night before, just go stand in line. And they'll set up the queue, and there'll be everybody there. And there's absolutely no reason to be in line. If you wake up the morning of, 15 minutes, the elevator ride takes longer than the line for reg. So, but it's a whole vibe. There's people that bring like mobile carts with DJ equipment, and they're DJing in the line, and like people that have like box pizza, and you know there's someone doing
No
like
shot.
lightning talks in the line talking about some random shit. And one of my favorite pictures I took, and I took for both of these photos different years, but one year they decided to put the line in a room that had chandeliers. and there's always beach balls. So they got a beach ball stuck in every single chandelier in that massive ballroom, and it was like, oh, we got it! They're all yelling and like, we did it! It's fucking stupid, but it's just the chaos, and it's a bunch of. It really feels like a bunch of like college frat party vibe and people just doing.
Yeah, you could probably
shit, right?
probably imagine it's in VR
so-
chat. So
chaos. You know, cool stuff happens at DEF CON as well. And, you know, this kind of stuff happens at a lot of cons, but the Wall of Sheep, pretty famous, especially back before everything was HTTPS with the amazing Let's Encrypt Foundation. Back then, a lot of sites were HTTP, and if you decided to use any Wi-Fi near DEF CON, near this Wall of Sheep, and you connected to an HTTP site, your username and password would show up on the screen because clearly you didn't care enough to use encrypted internet. And a lot of people also kind of use this to meme by just going to a fake website and like pretending to file taxes or whatever. And it led to some funny things on there. You know, but use it's, we don't really have to say it today, but you should be using HTTPS, but almost everything is these days because of the awesome like Let's Encrypt Foundation giving free SSL certs. Villages, really big part of DEF CON and a really cool thing. So I think the best way to describe villages is think of a dealer's den, just this massive room dedicated to like one thing. Obviously in a dealer's den it's selling stuff, but that kind of layout, that kind of size on one certain topic, and everybody in there who's sitting at a table or just hanging out is interested in that topic and just either knows nothing wanting to learn or knows something and wanting to share. And you just walk up to people and be like, why are you here? Oh, I figured out this really weird little thing that only I I care about in the world, and I wanted to tell people about it, and you learn something, right? And so we have some pictures here of just different spaces, but I think I have a couple that I highlight, like the Hardware Hacking Village. They have a bunch of tables in the middle that are set up with soldering stations, and if you're hanging out with some of the groups with like doing badge life, some of them give you.
Oh well,
parts
for
of
this you
badges
don't.
that aren't
I mean,
together.
you
And
know.
it's just like a really simple PCB.
You don't
with some
need.
LEDs
You don't
and wires,
need.
and you got to put it together yourself.
You don't need a
Maybe
VR
you've never
headset, as you
soldered
as you
before.
know.
So you just
But
take the parts, you walk over to the Hardware Hacking
Rox
Village,
is here.
and you just kind of awkwardly stand
Rox
next to
is
the table and be like, hey,
around.
you trying to put something together? Cool.
I don't know if
Sit down
she's
right here.
streaming right now.
Here's how you don't burn yourself with this 1,000-degree iron and lead solid, and then this is how you do it, and they'll help you out, and now you know how to solder. You didn't know how to do
I'll
that.
double
You
check
didn't
and
have
see
to
what
ask
she's
anyone.
done.
You
Unless
just
you can
kind of
look.
go there, learn stuff, and there's tables around, and sometimes
Actually, you know what?
they
Let me
have little
see.
tracks of panels that talk about really
Is
cool
she
things
on?
about that kind of
Let me
interest.
see. Actually,
And one thing I love about DEF CON is we all, even if we're 10 billion year experience industry experts, it's usually only like in one thing or one or two things, and the entire like topics is so wide and vast, you just don't know pretty much anything. And so the expectation is, I don't care what you know. I don't care if this is your first DEF CON or you've been coming 100 times. I don't care if you've been working forever or you're still in school. Just show up, don't be a dick, and I'll show you something cool. You'll walk away learning something. Lockpicking Village kind of covered that. They have a entire village
isn't okay.
of,
She isn't streaming.
these clear locks, and you can learn.
She
how to
said
lock
she
it
was
if you've
gonna
never had
try
before.
to
There's people that
frame
will
this.
teach you, and there's usually right next to the tamper evident village where you learn how to
She
take
said
off
she was gonna
those
try to
stickers that say void if removed
fuck?
without leaving the thing, or
She
the
said she was
power
gonna
fake
try to
bomb that you
stream
can defuse, like
this, so
kind of like the game keep talking and no one explodes, but in real
of
life,
course
it
I'm gonna
obviously
be
doesn't
hanging
explode,
out
it
with
just,
some
it says boom, literally. But
fellow
it's a fun game,
furries as
and people
well.
compete.
That I met in person, like an real in-person group of furries.
Every official village.
So they'll be on later as well.
You can
There's a
see
lot going on.
There's a shit ton
so.
of stuff out there, and remember, each one of these basically has a dealer den-sized room full of people that are just really interested in the thing, giving talks about the thing.
Holy
teaching
fuck!
people about
Look
the
at how
thing.
many of
There's
these.
an aerospace village. It's all about airplanes and the systems that control them. They also bring in, like, I think the I forget what government agency, but they bring in a literal satellite from space that you could just mess with. You know, the voting booth village brings in voting booths from states where you can, you know, it was in the headlines the first year that there's a 12-year-old
Fucking
that, like,
AI
the voting
village.
system. Well, obviously, if you have a Windows computer that you physically can touch, you're going to get access to it. The whole point is that they're not connected to the internet. But headline, woo, a kid hacks voting machine. Is the world safe? No, I don't know. But ooh, whatever, sensationalism. My favorite is the where to go? Social Engineering Village, probably near the end. This is not in alphabetical order. Anyway, Social Engineering Village, all about hacking people in the brain. They have a really cool, like, silent booth that you can just, you know, as someone who doesn't know anything, your goal is to walk into this soundproof booth where the audience can hear you, but the person you're talking to on the phone can't hear the audience. And you just call a random company and try to get them to be like, tell you what model network equipment they have. And, you know, there's some really cool talks about that. A lot of these villages have YouTube channels where you could just, you know, this thing sounds interesting. What is that about? Go look it up on YouTube and see some really cool talks. It's a really good way to kind of discover maybe an interest you have. If you're wanting to get into
okay.
those
She's
communities.
going. She's
And then
sleeping.
obviously there's subcons, the tribes, right? DEF CON Furs is the focus around the furries, and I talked about these other ones. This is kind of where we find community in the chaos, especially with DEF CON. There's so much going on. It's basically every village is like a mini con, and there's just it's such chaotic environment. You don't really have a home base. This is one of the things we try to do with DEF CON Furs is provide that, like, all right, we all come back to where we hang out and kind of talk with each other, get out of the crazy halls of the convention center, relax a little bit, take a breath, right? Find the community together, and we all kind of relate on the furry aspect. You don't have to go to Las Vegas to participate in the community. B-Sides is a really good example of that. There's over 291 cities spanning 72 countries.
Probably not around here.
Local communities put on, from their chapter, they put on their own conference, all over the U.S., all over other countries. They're really good events, usually to check out, find a close one to you if you're interested. There's also a thing called DEF CON Locals, especially in the U.S., and some other, like I think in the UK they have some as well. But basically it's DEF CON and then phone area code, where if there's enough people around your community, especially if you have a good makerspace, they'll form their own group, and it's basically like your local Telegram group, but for makers. And just to kind of cap this off, talk a little bit more about our event, DEF CON Furs, right? Obviously, we're putting on the panel and we're talking about DEF CON in general, but we really like to promote this space and go to different conventions, especially FurCons, and give talks, because this community is more than just hackers or people who do code. It's like this whole community of makers, and in this fandom there's a huge cross section, as I showed in the beginning, between makers and people in the fandom, and with that we could find community. And so we try to help promote that as part of, I guess I don't really have any slides on it, but I'm one of the founding members of a charity called Hack Your Lives, which our mission is to provide basically safe spaces for people to hack their own lives, meaning make your life what you want it to be. Be yourself, whatever that means.
Oh yeah, because they have a freaking booth this year.
The career you're in, the identity you have, the skills you have, networking, brain, or your heart, whatever.
It's like it's hacking meets mental health, basically,
and have all kinds of panels regarding that at DEF CON Furs and other events that we help put on. DEF CON Furs is one of our main things that we do. The other one that you've probably heard of, especially in a VR sense, is Soaring Fitness. They're also underneath the Hack Your Lives charity, and their whole mission is to basically bring free, open, fitness and well-being knowledge to the public. You can just show up and do stuff, or watch them on Twitch. There's no membership, there's no gym fee, there's nothing. It's just an open collaborative community of people wanting to better their body. They're hacking their fitness, right? So
No, they're hacking their
we
fitness.
provide
All I
that
heard.
kind of home base for furries that are interested in you know, hacker summer camp, to come and be out. A little bit of fun kind of history of how it came to be. In 2006, which was my second time going to DEF CON, I was like, all right, are there any other furries going? And so I basically just scrolled Twitter leading up to DEF CON. I searched DEF CON on Twitter, and then I just kept scrolling and stopped anytime I saw a furry icon, and I DM'd them and be like, yo, you going to DEF CON? Do you want to hang out? And like, I think I DM'd probably like a couple hundred people, and then, you know, a way overcrowded room ensued, and that was sort of the first unofficial DEF CON furs. And the following year, 2017, we like, you know what, let's do this right. We founded a charity, you know, we got a suite dedicated to it. We, you know, put a team together to actually run shit. And it wasn't just a bunch of people showing up in a overcrowded bedroom with like whiskey and pizza.
Remotely fuzzy, I didn't even
I'm
realize.
not complaining, but you know, a little more organized, right? Started doing badges. Also started becoming well known in the community. Right now, if you go to DEF CON, and you're not new, you probably know that we exist. We have fursuiters running all over the convention center. We're a staple of the community. I mean, we're already embedded in technology and tech industry that, you know, we're ubiquitous, you know, not ubiquitous, but everyone knows that like tech furries go hand in hand, and we're just part of the hacker community. They don't even look at us weird. And so we kind of started establishing the presence of DEF CON Furs by hanging out with QueerCon. We've partnered with them several times before, and we're doing so again this year to co-host some events. They used to have a really cool pool party back when companies spent money on people before COVID, basically. And it was the Bug Crowd sponsored QueerCon pool party, and like they rented out basically a rooftop party in a casino, and put a DJ stage on the edge of the pool, and it was just a big party. And we showed up, and they gave us a cabana, and you know, we put some pride flags on there for us and the interest groups to be like, hey, let's keep furry weird, let's keep DEF CON weird. We're all here. We're all part of this community, and it became this sort of space where people started gravitating to, be like, "Hey, I found my people."
That's right. Hack Your Lives. Yeah, there you have a
so
booth
we carried
here.
that forward. We, you know,
event.
from 2017 and on, we became more organized.
I
Like
can't
I
remember what
said,
number it was.
every
but...
year, I bring a giant freaking U-Haul trailer all the way to Vegas, and I park it in the valet with no shame, and unload everything into a hotel room because we're putting on something. And there's our logo for the charity, and then the DEF CON First logo is basically the DEF CON logo with ears added, because why make it more complicated than that? And you know, the golden era before COVID, basically, we've done some really cool stuff. We took over one of the huge suites in the Caesars Forum, not Caesars Forum, but the Caesars Hotel in Las Vegas. I forget what Greek statue that was, but it needed a fursuit head on it. That was the entrance to the suite, and you know, we had that. Obviously,
fursuit head on
you gotta have a bar. You can't have a furry gathering without alcohol. But we had plenty of non-alcoholic options to drink too. And you know, we have our own talks. That's a picture of Janaeus, who was part of our Furality infrastructure team for a good while, giving a talk about running a VR furry convention and the aspects of that, giving that talk at DEF CON in our space. And so, you know, cool stuff like that. And then we build really cool badges. I think our very first electronic badge, called the Boot Badge, was wanted by everyone, especially non-furries. You couldn't walk down the hall and be like, where'd you get that? Tell me where you got that. I think we built like 500 of them, and they were all gone. They're just gone.
It's a 600 round fucking thing.
Everybody wants them. All of our badges are open source on GitHub. If you know how to make that kind of stuff, all the diagrams are there. You can make it yourself. And some cons and people have remade them. The following year, we followed up with our RGB version of the LEDs on the screen. The theme was Westworld, so the badge was like a skull of the hosts, and then we had like this whole stack of different vinyl faceplates, which were the different characters from the TV show. And we published the standard of, it had two little screws on the sides of the eyes, where you would screw on the faceplate. And before we got to the con, before anyone ever saw them physically in hand, people showed up with their own acrylic faceplates. The two on the left there were they just showed up with them. They're like, all right, it's, I think it was like 130 centimeters or whatever across. I'm going to wing it. I'll make my own furry design, and I just showed up, and it is screwed on, and it just worked. It just, people like, hey, I want to make my own thing. It's really cool seeing that when people just kind of hack the badge, and some other years people have like modified the badge or added onto it or interacted with it when they have Bluetooth. Really cool stuff. And we used to do similar to the DEF CON locals. We did the DEF CON Furs locals, so there was some stuff in San Francisco, Denver.
Yeah, it's DEF CON Furs.
Volunteer organization, and we did lots
yes,
of
you heard that
panels,
correctly.
and we still do lots of panels at like all the fur cons.
If I wanted to go, this is when Furality happens.
Slow down in the community. Even DEF CON was canceled for real a year. We've talked about that before, but where we are now is we're rebuilding. We still throw on events every year. We're still getting back into the groove of things. We will be there this year again. If you're going to DEF CON or interested in going to DEF CON, it's August 6th through 9th this year in Las Vegas. We have our own sort of section of a room block at the Tuscany. If you want to check it out and maybe don't feel comfortable going on your own, but may feel more comfortable being around a bunch of furs, we have, we'll be posting a link to book a room on the website where you can then fill out a form saying, hey, I booked a room, here's my acknowledgement number, and we're trying to take over an entire building with us and QueerCon at the Tuscany, so we're all next to each other. It'll be a lot of fun. There's a shuttle to all the DEF CON convention center and stuff. Here is a QR code to a website that isn't live yet, but will be soon. I've been a little busy with Furality, so I just need to actually
dude, everybody was busy with Furality this year.
We'll have all the information for the event this weekend. We'll be publishing that, and you can come check us out. Come hang out for the event, as well as we'll be if you're out there, you have an interesting to talk about, whether it's tech or non-tech, maker related, anything that might sound like it could be something that you figured out that you want to share. We'll be having what we call a call for papers. It's basically the panel sign up. If you want to host a panel at DEF CON Furs, it's not complicated. It's literally talking maybe in front of 30 people. Don't stress about it. If you think you have a cool idea, reach out to us, especially once the website launches, and then maybe we'll have be part of your first time going and speaking. Cool thing. And we'll have a cool badge this year. These links do work, and this is also my last slide, so I'll take a couple questions, but on the left is our charity store. We are a 501c3. Anything you get on there is tax deductible, and there's a lot of cool stuff there for Soaring Fitness. If you're a fan of that group, they got some really cool swag. We also have some cool shirts on there, and once our electronic badges this year get published, they'll be available on there too. And then on the right, if you are interested in this sort of community around making hacking stuff, we have a Telegram group which has a lot of people in it. It doesn't mean that you need to be going to DEF CON, the convention in Vegas. There's a lot of people in there from all over the world, and we just kind of use it as a giant group chat to talk with each other. So Telegram at DEF CON Furs. It is a request to join. Make sure you have a furry icon, otherwise I'm not going to let you in, because I don't have time to do background checks on a bunch of random crypto guys. Just have a furry a furry name or a picture or something, and we'll let you in the group. We're not even gonna message you.
Just make sure make sure it's
so
obvious you're a furry.
Hopefully you found this talk engaging, entertaining.
That's the
you
only
learned something.
requirement.
It's not just a bunch of
Pretty
people with ski
self-explanatory.
masks with the banana hitting the keyboard. As fun as that is to watch. Yeah, hit me with some questions. I'm also looking at the chat.
Yes, I have got a couple questions for you. You have to forgive me. My left hand has died at this worst time possible for me to be on stage.
No worries.
So, question from Snaps. What's the most interesting project that you've worked on yourself?
Furality? I don't know.
Furality.
I have this problem where I work on a lot of fandom projects. I really believe in like the furry fandom in general, and so I have a lot of skill sets that I like really, probably spreading myself way too thin of helping back the fandom. So like I'm an exec at 3 different cons. One of the cons, I guess it's technically 2 of them, I started. Furality being one of the cons that I'm an exec at, and at Anthro SoCal and Def Confers. I volunteer at a lot of cons. I work on a furry registration software called Convention Master. I built the original Fox portal before it was made really cool and dynamic by people who know what they're doing.
Oh.
And I don't know, I work on a whole bunch of fandom stuff. But I will say that what Furality has become and the crazy amount of engineering in the DevOps part of it to make all the worlds possible and everyone able to experience what the rest of the team puts into the con is a really cool thing to be part of. And I know Janaeus, who was also like my number 2 back when it was just me and then just me and him, he really feels that too. In fact, he is, as far as I know, the only person that has a tattoo of Finn on his arm. Like straight up has Finn on his arm tattooed in color. It's really cool.
That's dedication without a doubt.
Yeah, corporate branding.
Corporate branding.
Oh, there's a copyright strike in there somewhere. So I'm gonna butcher this name. I do apologize. Scaruzo, what resources would you recommend for keeping up to date with InfoSec and tech news on various specific sites, podcasts, etc.?
Oh God. The internet. They're okay. If you don't know how to curate your own feed and you don't want all the crap, there is a very well marketed email blog that's called TL:DR, and it's this security focused email newsletter where a couple people have put together all of the relevant links for the week. There's some things in there that are ads, but it's between all the actual content. It's like, hey, this talk about this. If you like AppSec, if you like, CloudSec and security with tech, really good source of information. Otherwise, you're gonna find random people on Twitter who talk about things in particular, and they're like the person. Security TikTok, pretty good. You got a bunch of people in the industry that entire channels dedicated to sharing news. Obviously that does require you to use TikTok if you want to do that, but if you're already on there, might as well make the time you're wasting useful.
What that? Very fair to say. We do waste a lot of our lives on the internet doing things, so let's be useful with the time we do waste. Oh, the doom scrolling solutions. So let's go for, you've spoken about this a few times. Hey, it's very important to you and something you're working on and setting up. A question from Anuri. Is Hack Your Life intended for introspection and personal growth from within, or more conditioning to exact desirable changes in life that haven't happened naturally?
That's kind of a deep question, I guess. I guess more from the way we look at it is we cover a wide range of things, whether that be a knowledge type thing or an identity type thing, being able to express your gender identity or sexual identity, right? We have talks on all kinds of those things. I think in the past we've had talks on like, what is polyamory and how does it actually work? Not promoting that's the right or wrong way to do something, but if you're going to dabble in something, learn from someone who's experienced and what can you take away from that. But also things completely opposite of that, like Soaring Fitness is about fitness, knowing how to.
Why don't they just like just casually just talk,
yourself,
just mention like
doing that safely? There's community type things where you're socializing with other people who may have the same interests as you, and what we're facilitating is an environment where there is no harassment allowed. There's no exclusionary behavior allowed. It is a safe space in the traditional sense of the term, and the modern sense of the term, where you know that you can show up, you could just be yourself. You're not going to be overtly judged for not being what the typical society expects you to be, right? Just being yourself. We're not here to tell you what to be, but just provide a space for you to just exist and learn more about what you're interested in.
Lovely, yeah. So it's always about finding ourselves to move on to the next thing, because once you know yourself, you can progress further in life. You find that footing and that confidence. From Juju to 20,014, I'm going to say the number because I've grabbed numbers rather than read letters. What's your proudest or most difficult hack you've done?
Proudest or most difficult hack? I don't know that I'm blue team.
What?
I don't really pen test things, but I do validate security, especially with AppSec. I've done some really silly things early on in my career that I know much better than to do now. But when I was an intern at a company, really big company, really small number of security staff, was basically me and as an intern and the one guy they hired up full time for a company that measured sales in millions an hour. I found some really simple cross-site scripting bugs in the website, and I was like to the CTO, look, man, this isn't good. And it's not the way to approach the exec wing, but we fixed it and was able to contribute. And as an intern, I was defining the entire cloud security posture policy. That was fun, but I mean, there's nothing grandiose about it or to brag about. I don't, like I said, I'm blue team. I don't go hacking random websites. You shouldn't do it either. Anything that you're touching, you should own and have, or the owner's consent and all of the pieces along the way. If something's hosted on the internet, even if the guy that owns the website says you can, they don't own AWS or your ISP or the connection points between the two. So don't go breaking into shit that you don't own or have permission to do.
Always be safe, be logical, and act within the boundaries of the law. That is always the most accurate thing to be for it. Let's go from Jay Shadows, right? I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit. What are tips and warnings and advice you can give about going to these cons? Obviously, any sort of convention covering security and safety is going to have ways to people who know how to bypass a lot of things. What advice and tips can you give to protect those who may be new to the space?
I mentioned hazing at DEF CON, and where we tell people that they have to stand in line. One of the things that we love to tell people is like, you can't bring any electronic. You just have to basically go without your phone and be camping, tin foil around the phone. It's really not that serious. There's millions of people at Vegas every day that aren't part of the experience, and they're not really being messed with more than usual. Don't let people borrow your computer. Don't leave it unlocked in the lobby and walk away. Don't do stupid shit like that, and you'll be fine. Don't connect to me to be hacked Wi-Fi SSID. It's really obvious. It's really obvious. You get messed with if you intentionally put yourself out there to get messed with, because that's part of the community. People do set up things. People will bring a new ATM that didn't exist there before and just set it up, but it's not going to act in a way that steals your money. It's there to be funny, right? So as long as you're not intentionally trying to get hacked, you usually aren't going to get messed with. And it's just like going to Disneyland or any other place. Be conscious. There are people out there that will do stupid things, but if you don't go out of your way to be their target, you're probably not going to be. You know, you're not some nation state secret holder that everyone's targeting. You're just some random guy or girl or whatever.
Random person, people not haven't got
Random
motivation
person.
for it. And then, honestly, I think
A girl or whatever.
Realistically, so that it. Any tips for reverse engineering sort of resources or locations you'd recommend people direct them to start looking for it? And that is from Narka. I do apologize.
Reverse engineering is could be a couple different things depending on what you're reverse engineering. That is not my specialty. However, if you do join the DEF CON First Telegram group, I'm sure you could find some people that just love that kind of thing on whatever it is that you're trying to do, and they could probably point you in better resources than I could kind of come up with on the spot.
Perfect. Well, I'll leave the rest in your hands, Allo. Thank you very much.
Hope everybody had a good time. I might check the Discord later and answer some of the other questions if I'm not caught up doing all the Furality things. But thank you guys for coming, and see you out there at the rest of the con. Enjoy the convention.
Bye. All right, I need to figure out what the hell's going on because I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so, the only things I have, okay, so what I have currently, okay, so nothing on Club Fin is happening currently, as far as I know. Actually, you know what? I think this top one, I think, is happening currently. I think. I don't know. But there's matchmaking, a matchmaking thing, and then I'm gonna do. Next thing I'm gonna go to is the a meetup. Also, raise 30,000. Woo! Yeah. So got an hour to spare. I don't know if I'm gonna check out some of the other things. I don't know. Maybe when I come back, I'll look at the lobby. I'm assuming this is the lobby here. But you know, we'll figure that out. Anyway, I will. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. So I have. Let me do this. Hold on a minute. Fucking lagging. Do that for right now. Okay. Anyway, so what I'll do is I'm gonna end the stream real quick. It's gonna be. I'm basically taking a little bit of a break here. I have to reset my PC, and when I come back, I will be going to the lobby. And the other thing is, I have my character has an avatar. I have a outfit that I have for this con. I was trying to figure out how to get it set up, but the person who made it was sending it up for me. So when I come back, I'll just upload to my account and see what's going on. Also, hopefully, I don't have any fucking issues with trying to look at or walking around. Hopefully, I don't have any issues walking around. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But whatever it is, it's happening with Team VR a little bit. So I'll be back. Anyway, give me like half hour, maybe. Yeah, half hour, if not sooner. Gotta do all that, then bathroom in the middle of it. But anyway, see you in a minute. Or see you in whatever. Well, I'll see you soon. Jesus Christ.